Hey guys, welcome to part 1 of What If Naruto Joined ANBU Black Ops After Academy. If you enjoy the video then like, share and subscribe and also comment your thoughts as it inspires me to make more such videos, and remember to check out my playlist section for other interesting stories. So let's get started. Chapter 1. Sarutobi's Office, moments after Mizuti's defeat. Commander Dragon whistled. Damn, that's talent. He was impressed. After watching the whole scene between Naruto and the traitor Dragon couldn't help but imagine having that in his forces. The kid could outrun and outprank his men since he was 10, and the young Jinchuriki was known to be stealthy even in orange, perfect for ANBU. And after creating hundreds of clones like nothing, Dragon knew his services would be invaluable. Pity he was so young, the Hokage would be near impossible to convince. Yes, his chakra capacity is huge, and with his solid Henja shape shift, really he has more potential than any of the graduates. Sarutobi chuckled and lit his pipe. Dragon whipped his head up. Impossible. Shape-shifting, as in not an illusion. He drooled slightly when the Hokage nodded, and knew right then. Screw the age, shape-shifting took huge reserves, and even then only a few bloodline holders seemed to be able to use it. It was probably the fox, and as such had unlimited uses if Naruto could figure out how to transfer his abilities to become animals or even objects. I want him, Dragon clipped. The Hokage and the ANBU guards gaped at him, wondering if their commander was finally losing it. Sarutobi quickly squashed the idea. Absolutely not. He's a genin now, according to Urka's headband on him, and thus can become ANBU. Hokage-sama, surely you see how much latent talent he has? And those academy reports show he should have graduated 3 years ago. Dragon smirked at the slight wince on his boss's face. Sarutobi had called upon Naruto's file after he failed that afternoon. Needless to say, he was pissed at the revelation that the boy should have graduated at 9, not fail 3 times. Contrary to popular belief, failing the ninjutsu portion didn't stop one from becoming a genin. You had to fail 3 sections. Apparently Mizuti and other teachers would intentionally alter the tests before Urka saw, yet were stupid enough to keep the originals in the file cabinets. Nobody had ever asked for the orphan's real file, and thus his scores reported a moron. If Naruto hadn't stolen the scroll, he would have been given an honorary graduation in the morning. Sarutobi knew he failed the boy greatly, but letting him in the darkness of their world so early was not something he should allow, no matter the talent. He just made the rank, though. Naruto will be placed under Kakashi. I'm sure he will learn plenty there, and you can recruit him in a few years, he said with a voice of steel. Normal men would let it drop. Dragon was not normal. He faked his death for his village, changed his fighting style in many ways for the ruse. He once faced 10 Chunin and Jonin with 3 kunai and barely any chakra. He still hasn't spent their bounties completely. Dragon knew not what backing down meant, not when it came to the village's safety. Kakashi is inept in teaching and life at the moment. His teammate will no doubt be the Uchiha, who we both know is a flight risk. Having our Jinchuriki make bonds with a potential traitor is foolish. Sarutobi faltered. Good. Just a little more. Also, being an ANBU who only answer to the Hokage would protect him should anything ever happen to you. And let's be honest, keeping Naruto away from public eye for several years could finally let their hatred die down. When he leaves, he will be given whatever rank he deserves. What Dragon didn't say was that a few years would hopefully be at least 10. He viewed this as a sort of long-term investment. Why train 3 ANBU that would leave within a couple of years due to stress or wanting something else in their career when you can mold one amazing ANBU and have them for over a decade? It worked with Tenzo, who was still in the forces, without showing a sign of burnout. Of course, Dragon wouldn't tell his leader that, nor would he mention that he planned for the kid to become captain level within 2 years. Sarutobi didn't take too kindly to rushing a ninja's training, but Naruto's ability with shadow clones just begged to be abused. Very well. I will consent to this for a time. What squad do you suggest? Sarutobi sighed. He sensed it was for the best for all parties involved, especially the boy he failed minus, and maybe the squad he was assigned would turn Naruto into a fantastic shinobi. I think Ro would be best. Tenzo can train him into the ground, help him with the fox, and give him some manners. That, or kill him for his boisterous personality. Maybe this isn't a good idea. Now, your genius knows no bounds, Dragon. Almost another hour passed of the two men smoothing out details such as living arrangements and strategies to improve Naruto's diet. Dragon was in the middle of suggesting, in a joking way of course, for the most part shock therapy to loosen the addiction when the door opens and his new subordinate walks in with the scroll, the bright orange lighting up the night. Not even Dragon was sure how he was so slippery in that outfit, but imagining his skill in proper clothes sent shivers down his spine. He put his game face on, not that anyone could see. Time to tell the kid the good news. Who didn't want to be ANBU? 30 minutes later. And after Urka-sensei gave me his headband, I dropped Mizuki off at the ANBU guard station, and took Urka-sensei to the hospital and came here. Naruto said, ignoring the commander with practiced ease used to Jiji having a sentry even during private talks. He felt sickened with himself. His own stupidity led to his teacher staying in the hospital overnight. The looks of disgust from the nurses when he handed over his favorite man seemed justified. For once he had to get stronger to make sure it didn't happen again. The Hokage seat seemed hollow at this point. If he couldn't protect one person, how could he be the shield of the whole village? Well, I'm glad you took the news of your tenant quite well. Seeing Naruto's major look of betrayal, the Hokage winced, but continued, and I want to talk about your graduation. I didn't pass. Naruto was panicking inside. The only reason he didn't pass years ago was the stupid clone jutsu. He knew the jutsu now, or at least a variation, so what was the problem? How was he supposed to protect his precious people, however few they were, if he had to repeat another year at the academy? Oh, you pass, Naruto. Don't worry about that. It's just. Sarutobi faltered in his resolve, considering changing his mind. He really didn't feel right about this. Fortunately, or unfortunately, the Hokage wasn't sure yet. His most trusted ninja had no fears and instead seemed giddy. Like a child with a new toy. I hope Naruto survives his fascination. I wonder how Naruto will deal with Dragon's seemingly personal aversion to him eating ramen constantly. Originally you would have been assigned to a team with Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruo and Kakashi Hatake. However, putting you under a regular genin squad would be a mistake, both because of your abilities and the security risk of having two high-target genin on the same team. As a result, you won't be in the normal forces, at least for a while. You're under my command, kid. Welcome to ANBU. The truth was stretched a bit, but Naruto bought it, if a bit flabbergasted. He recognized the ANBU as Dragon, the top ANBU. Gulping a bit, he nodded weakly. Why am I a high target? He asked. Sasuke was an Uchiha, and the last one at that. Of course he'd be important. But Naruto. No one wanted him here. Why would it be different anywhere else? You're a Jinchuriki, a person who holds a tailed beast. That makes you an asset to Konoha. Here Dragon brushed off his leader's ki. The kid need the truth, not lies like the Hokage thought was best for them. It's a sad fact, but the truth. In times of war, enemy villages will try to take you out first, and missions you are sent on could be sabotaged to either kidnap or kill you. To fix this, having you in ANBU lets you be invisible while you train to become strong enough for these threats. His voice was blunt, but Naruto found he rather liked that. His Jiji lied to him his entire life. Every time he asked about why he was hated or spit on, the Hokage would let slip sweet lies to placate him. This guy, though speaking things he'd rather not hear, being viewed as a trump card and primary target wasn't pleasant, was honest. Naruto found it amusing that other villagers desired him more than anyone here save a few, but chopped it up to wanting the fox, not him. What Commander Dragon should have said, Naruto, is that the shadows are safer for a few years. It is my fault for not ensuring you received proper training from your first day at the academy like the other Jinchuriki do. In ANBU, I am able to fix my mistake. If you wish to leave the forces after you become Jonin level, then at that time you can. Sarutobi smiled at his surrogate grandson. That smile fell when Naruto bowed a bit stiffly. Understood, Hokage-sama. I am ready for my first post. Naruto wasn't sure how he felt at the Hokage, but he knew the leader screwed him over. From the sounds of things, he should have been trained, or at least told of his burden, not kept in the dark. Normally he would just brush the incident under the rug, but this time his mouth wouldn't let the easy forgiveness come out. Sarutobi knew he screwed up. Losing Naruto's affectionate nickname coupled with the barely held contempt means he lost his respect and trust. Besides being a personal issue, the Jinchuriki had to stay loyal to the reigning Hokage to keep political power in check. He had to gain his trust back. I'll make it up to you, Naruto. I promise. Dragon seemed pleased by Naruto's acceptance. If the kid refused or threw a fit, he would have been hard-pressed to have the Hokage's backing. From his files, Naruto wouldn't have done so, but the possibility was always there. Come with me, Naruto. The men are ready for the bonfire. He rubbed his hands together. Something they've wanted to do for years was finally coming to pass. Every ANBU assigned to Orange duty had fantasies about what was about to happen. Naruto blinked at the comment and dark chuckles from around him. The bonfire? He squeaked. They couldn't mean that, could they? Of your jumpsuits. Don't worry, you'll be issued enough uniforms and off-duty clothes at HQ. New was heard all through the village as Naruto's cries of anguish echoed. ANBU HQ. Naruto gulped as he followed Dragon through the dark hallways that smelled faintly of blood. At the quartermaster, Naruto had signed his life away in blood, promising at least 7 years unless debilitating injuries or specific recommendations from the Hokage. He looked at the uniform given to him, a size extra small ANBU gear set in his arms, the mask looking up at him. It was supposed to be a mouse, its red whisker marks and black nose marking staring up at him, but the features were too vague in his opinion. Naruto's nerves were on high alert still. He was even too nervous to care much about the obvious jab to his height and immaturity. Soon they reached the locker rooms. Locker 123 is yours, mouse. You can change and bring your kindling, or old clothes, out to the communal area 2 doors on the right. Tonight you can sleep in the dorm, and tomorrow before team practice your captain will find you an apartment in the ANBU complex. ANBU complex? Naruto quirked an eyebrow. He never could find where the ANBU lived, or else he would have pranked them. Then again, maybe that's why I didn't know. Yes, the complex. It's a series of apartment buildings that only ANBU and approved Jonin can live in. Nobody will question you staying there or vandalize your lodgings. Oh, and I have no say in what you do in your free time, but I feel the need to remind you that pranking high-level ninjas when you live next door could be considered a hazard to your health. Dragon replied smoothly. Somehow Naruto could tell the man enjoyed messing with his head. Alright. I'll keep that in mind, Dragon-sama. He said with the right suffix. On the way to HQ, Naruto attempted a nickname, and found out what flying 30 feet felt like. Then Naruto processed what he heard. There goes his epic plans for off-duty mischief. Glad to hear you agree. Now, put on your uniform. Masks are to be worn on duty at all times outside the base, but you can leave it on your belt in HQ. What about you? Naruto asked. They were in HQ, but Dragon still wore his thick cloak and mask. I'm the commander, mouse. I'm never off duty, and my identity is an S-class secret even from my subordinates. With that, his new leader walked stiffly out, signaling the end of discussion. 10 minutes later, Naruto walked into the common room, mask clipped to his belt, idly rubbing his ANBU tattoo. Inside, 40 on and off-duty ANBU were gathered around his piles of clothes. Snacks were passed around, and cameras were out at the ready. Everything looked oddly normal, considering these were the elite. And I'm one of them, even if I don't deserve to be. Yet. But soon, I'll prove I can be useful. A man with a faceplate headband and fish eyes spotted him from a circle of chattering agents. He beckons Naruto over. "Welcome Naruto, mask name Mouse. I am your captain, Tenzo. On missions you will call me Tiger. These are your teammates, Yugao mask name Cat, and Hikaru mask name Wolf." The now identified Tenzo was formal and seemed to demand respect. Naruto, still not feeling back to normal after his revelation that he wasn't a kick-ass ninja yet, responded in a very un-Naruto-like way. "Thank you, Captain. I am sorry if my lack of skills causes you trouble." Naruto attempted his best respectful voice, knowing the childishness wouldn't be appreciated. The others with Tenzo were slightly shocked by the quiet and polite reply. The Naruto they all knew from childhood pranks would have shouted something along the lines of how awesome he was and dreamed to be Hokage, not apologize for his obvious weakness. Hikari, known as one of the avid supporters of Naruto's epic escapades and personality, decides his new teammate needed to lighten up or become a mini Kakashi. He flips his long brown hair, giving his new konoha a light Hyuga smirk. "Oi, Chibi, what's a squirt like you doing on Team Row?" Honestly, Hikaru was looking forward to having the blonde as his squad mate. He himself was an avid joke enthusiast, not on the clock, of course. He felt that Naruto just needed a nudge. After all that happened, Mizuki had already had many visitors after news spread of his attempts to kill Naruto. Naruto grew a tick mark. "Who you calling a chibi? And I'll have you know I'll be kicking your ass one of these days." And just like that, the dam broke and the old Naruto shined through, if only a bit more subdued and weary from the betrayal. It was as if a slight weight lifted off his shoulders as he defended his height and abilities. "Humph. I'll believe it when I see it. Now throw your jumpsuit in the fire and let's start the party." Hikari drags Naruto over to a contained fire pit. Naruto pales at the prospect of getting rid of his sweets. It's not that he loved the color orange above all others, he preferred red in all honesty, or that he liked jumpsuits. They were hard to maneuver in, but they served a purpose. If he could out-stealth the elite and paint the Hokage mountain in that, he could do it in anything, and it became a part of him, a way to not be ignored by villagers. But Naruto had a feeling the ANBU in the room would force him to burn them if he refused, and he had no delusions of beating dozens of elites. After a quick moment of contemplation, Naruto steeled himself and tossed the suit into the flames, determination in his eyes. "That was my childhood. Now, I'm a new me and ANBU recruit. I'll become strong enough to keep tonight from repeating or ending in a body bag for someone." Cheers echoed through the room and a hand pounded on his back. A lizard ANBU gave him a nuji, and Hikaru tried to stuff a rice ball down his throat. Before the night waned, and he passed out into a creaky dorm bed, ANBU had already become a better home than Naruto's old one. Next day, Naruto stared at his new quarters, his 3 boxes of stuff already stacked neatly in the corner. With break-ins common due to the location of Naruto's apartment in the red light district, it never seemed wise to keep too much stuff around. He dropped the duffel bag carrying the 3 extra uniform sets and 6 off-duty outfits, ANBU pants, long black or green sleeved shirts on the new brown couch. Looking around, he couldn't see why this apartment was half the cost of the others. It was small. It was plain. It was perfect. Naruto had a wide grin, giddy despite himself. "Yada. This is amazing. Look at this couch, so firm. And this window, no drafts. The kitchen working appliances. And the bedroom so comfy." He ran from spot to spot like a chicken who lost its head. Captain Tenzo shook his head at his newest recruit's enthusiasm, but brushed it off as Naruto never having stuff half this nice. Yugao chuckled. And Hikari? Well, he joined in. "This carpet is so soft. And the chairs are comfy." He bounded around just as much as Naruto did. Yugao face-palmed at the 2 youngest members' antics. "Hikaru, Naruto's apartment is exactly like yours. There is no reason for you to act like a caffeine-high toddler." She honestly didn't understand how Hikaru made ANBU. Despite his abilities at both taijutsu and ninjutsu, he was too carefree. Naruto was an exception. He was young, and both Yugao and Tenzo had plans to beat him into a respectable member of Team Ro. They had a reputation to take back. They used to be the top squad until Itachi defected and Kakashi left, damaging their image. Of course, as she observed Hikari taunting Naruto from the ceiling and basking in the blonde's odd expression, Yugao had to wonder if it was already too late for a complete makeover. "Hey, Yugao-senpai." Naruto's voice cut through her musings. "Who are my neighbors?" He knew Yugao lived across from him, Hikaru lived to her left and Captain Tenzo had a larger apartment to her right. The new ninja never had neighbors before and the thought excited him to no end. Until he saw his entire squad wince. "Heave. See, there's a reason this apartment is so cheap." Tenzo started. "Kakashi's fine, he's on your right and stays quiet as a mouse. But to your right." Yugao trailed off as she hugged herself. "Is a monster so horrible it made a single word become outlawed?" Hikaru's voice called from the ceiling. They shuddered together, and Naruto scoffed. "He couldn't be that bad. I'll bet you guys are just trying to scare me." "Yash. I hear I have a youthful new neighbor to bask in the springtime of youth with." A boisterous voice appears in Naruto's doorway accompanied by the most horrible sight imaginable, a green spandex alien. The alien gave a thumbs up and made his teeth sparkle. "I am the extremely youthful Mato guy, Konoha's youthful green beast. Welcome, youthful friend. It is most youthful to be an ANBU so young." Naruto paled as the creature grabbed his hand in a handshake that swung him around the room. It was then Naruto noticed none of his new comrades were in sight. Traitors, do the bonds we built mean nothing? In their respective apartments, his teammates each sent a silent prayer of apologies to their youngest new friend. "You Uzumaki Naruto, nice to meet you." He managed out between poundings into the floor. Guy would have continued, but an aloof drawl stopped him. Ma, Guy. Don't kill our neighbor before I meet him." The voice was accompanied by a cyclops reading the same orange book Naruto saw Hokage Jiji read. The man's eye widened and narrowed when he spotted Naruto in his ANBU gear. "Great, another hater," he thought glumly. Naruto wasn't aware, but Kakashi was narrowing his eye at the fact his secret little brother figure and supposed future student was in a high security ranking apartment wearing the Black Ops gear, his tattoo still fresh. "Whoever put him into ANBU at his age is going to count how many jutsu I know as I test them on their dying bodies." Kakashi Hatake was many things, a failure as a teammate and big brother being the two most important ones in his opinion minus, but he wouldn't stand for a newly promoted genin that barely passed to die in the core. Before he went to his obviously senile Hokage, he needed some information. "My name is Kakashi Hatake. Who are you?" "You're awfully young to be an ANBU." "You're what? 11?" He bantered, fishing for any scrap of insight. "Uzumaki Naruto, and yes, I know I'm too young and inexperienced for this, but the Hokage and commander put me in it for a reason, okay? And I'm 12. I'm not that small." Naruto snapped a bit at the man, not liking him one bit. Kakashi ignored the tone, sights already set on a certain cage. His old team arrives then, no doubt hiding from the horrors that were his best friend. And looking at how Naruto was in a bone-crushing hug listening about youth, he couldn't blame them. Kakashi drags his old koha into the hall. "Tenzo," he says coolly. "Why is my future student in ANBU?" The anger was evident and promising pain for lies. Tenzo met his gaze evenly. "Senpai. You will have to take that up with the Hokage. As far as I know, Naruto was put onto my squad for his potential as both a ninjutsu specialist and tracking traps master with his shadow clones. And no offense, but you've never shown interest in him before. Just because you feel you owe a debt to his father doesn't mean you can cast him aside until it suits you. If you'll excuse me, I have a limited time to turn a genin into an ANBU." He left the stunned Kakashi and ducked his head into the doorway in time to see Guy offer to take Naruto on early morning training. "Training? Yes," Naruto said excitably. Training was always welcome. Course, he'd never seen Guy's methods before. "Yash. Then I will wake you at 4 tomorrow, my most youthful neighbor. Akem, time to go. Naruto, make 2 clones and have them study the rule and code of conduct books I left in your bag. We have training until 9 tonight. Naruto nodded as he slid his mask on, becoming Mouse to the outside world. The people in his complex may come to know his identity over time, but the more obscure he was to the common ninja and villager the better. Yes, Captain. He didn't even try to say Captain Fish Eyes minus Dragon was bad enough. What could his captain do? Yugao held onto Naruto's shoulder and shunshined them to Team Rose training grounds. Training grounds, 2 hours later. Naruto was working on katas in slow motion with Tenzo while 10 clones worked on tree climbing under Yuga's gaze and Hikaru taught another 10 clones the Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu. As he focused on the forms Tenzo brought to light his situation. We have 4 weeks of uninterrupted training. Every day from 6 am after Guy till 9 at night, I will work you to the bone. In this first week, we will work on solidifying your basics, and hopefully have you master both the Shuriken Shadow Clone and the tree climbing. Like all ANBU in this time, the Kawarimi will become sealless and instantaneous as it is the jutsu that has saved more ninjas than any other jutsu or tool. After that, water walking, shunshin, kenjutsu, and an elemental attack will be introduced. You will also have memorized the ANBU signs and rule book in this time, as well as the map of the Land of Fire. I can already do Kawarimi without seals. Naruto looked away in embarrassment as Tenzo gaped at him. Show me, he ordered. Naruto wouldn't lie, but Tenzo had trouble believing that the boy could learn to use the jutsu to that level without help, no matter how wrong his records were. Naruto instantly replaced himself with his backpack about 100 feet away. I had nothing better to do last summer and read in a book about how getting Kawarimi to be seal-less was a chakra control exercise. I thought it would help my clones. Naruto didn't mention he took 7 months of practicing every day to do so. Well, good work. Then we will replace that time with hand speed practice in general and battle experience with the Kawarimi. What happens after that? A month of training won't make me ready for missions. Naruto scowled as Tenzo wrapped his arm with a twig to correct his elbow height for a grapple move. After that, our team will take guard and patrol missions of non-essential areas for another 2 months to solidify teamwork. During this grace period, your speed, dodging, taijutsu, and kenjutsu skills will continue to be worked into something passable, and the core trap specialist will begin improving your repertoire in the art. I left space throughout these 3 months for 2 hours in the evening for you to learn another skill of either fuinjutsu or ninjutsu, or additional weaponry. Which do you prefer? Naruto thought for a moment. More ninjutsu sounded fun, but to be honest, Tenzo explained his control needed a lot of improvement before more jutsu than the ones planned could be learned, so that was out. Weaponry was necessary, but he already had 3 hours dedicated to it 6 days a week. Any more throwing or sword practice shouldn't be needed. That left fuinjutsu sealing. I choose fuinjutsu, Captain, Naruto said finally in a small voice, remembering the rule of while on duty or training quiet and serious. Tenzo nodded in approval at both his answer and the volume. Good choice, Mouse. I don't know more than the basics, but I have a feeling even without help you'll find the art to be easy, he said knowingly. Naruto narrowed his eyes slightly and prepped to grill his captain on the subject when Tenzo cut off his intake of air. 10-minute break. I believe it's time we actually introduce ourselves besides names. The 4 ninjas sat in a circle while clones continue their work, masks off in the grass. I know we haven't really had the chance yet, but let's do proper introductions. Say your likes, dislikes, hobbies, and dreams. I will start. My name is Tenzo. I like konoha, tea ceremonies, nature, and reading architecture books. I don't like traitors, those who harm nature, and loud people. Here Naruto winced. He was much quieter already, but he didn't want to make his captain mad. I am busy as captain of Team Ro, but a hobby would be gardening. My dream is make konoha strong, and help you all become stronger. Yugao went next. Yugao Uzuki, I like my boyfriend Hayate, konoha, dango and swords. I dislike those who look down on kenjutsu and those who abandon comrades. My hobbies are sparring and visiting the hot springs. My dream is to become the world's greatest kenjutsu user. Yo! I am Hikari Hyuga, the best Hyuga in town. I like my clan, konoha, and messing around. I dislike seriousness, my clan's caged bird seal, and those who hate pranks. My hobbies are messing with people and origami. My dream is to become ANBU commander and raise a family. Hikaru's speech was joking and fun, bringing a smile to Naruto's face. Your go, Chibi. And the smile was gone. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen, Hokage-sama, even if I don't trust him at the moment, was Naruto's unspoken addition, and my new teammates. I dislike traitors, people who mock me, and the 3 minutes it takes for the ramen to cook. My dream. Well, it was to be Hokage, but now I don't know. Probably to become strong enough to protect my precious people. Naruto finished, not noticing the small smiles his teammates shared. That alone made him more qualified for the position than half of the ninja. Good job. We have 3 months to make Naruto ready for B and A class missions. Let's get to work. Yugao looked determined at Tenzo's words while Hikaru and Naruto jumped for joy. Oi! Act your age, Hikaru. And Naruto, you're on duty. Yugao scolded. Naruto quieted and stood ramrod straight, but Hikaru looked hurt. AW, but Yugao-senpai, I'm only 15. Let me have fun with the chibi. He pouted. Naruto felt the need to hit his senpai but held back, if only because he stood no chance of landing. Said hit last night proved that unfortunate truth. Hokage's office. You let Naruto into ANBU. Are you insane, Hokage-sama? Kakashi kept his voice mostly calm, but the absence of his book suggested otherwise. Sarutobi sighed in annoyance at the man's repeating questions. We've been over this before, Kakashi. Naruto is now one of my personal ANBU, not your future student. But I was supposed to. If you want to play the teach him card, you should have approached him in the academy like I suggested after he failed the first time. Trying to convince me now won't work. Kakashi's head drooped in shame. It's true he should have done more for the blonde besides the occasional guard rotation or donated groceries. However, his head whipped up in hope. If you were to offer a young ANBU some tracking or ninjutsu lessons on his days off Sunday, I believe then I wouldn't have any problems with it. Kakashi beamed at the chance. He'd make this right. Understood, Hokage-sama. In a puff of smoke he left. I sounded so confident while defending my decision to him, but I have my doubts. I don't. He's already become more emotionally stable under Tenzo, and Guy will be working on his endurance every morning as a favor to me. Naruto is fitting in quite nicely. A voice spoke from nowhere, but Sarutobi knew who it was no matter how well they distorted their voice or masked their chakra. Dragon, he breathed. Report on the initiation last night. Dragon chuckled. The bonfire went well, too well really. Hikari started a ritualistic dancing. Honestly, if not for his eyes I wouldn't know he was from a major clan that prided themselves on their image. Sarutobi snorted. The same could be said for you, especially before. Perhaps. After a pregnant pause Sarutobi speaks again. Is it wise to separate Naruto from the village for 3 months? I believe so. It gives Naruto time to heal after finding out about his burden and the chance for him to fade from their minds. True, but not telling Urika and his classmates? Dragon shrugged at the concern. Most ANBU don't spread their identities around anyways, even if it's not forbidden among allies. Keeping Naruto busy will also keep him from pranking HQ or the village, especially as he can spam hundreds of himself. Both shuddered at the thought. Point taken, my friend. 4 a.m. next day. Naruto was awoken by being thrown into the ceiling. Yash. Good morning, my youthful neighbor. Let us work our flames of youth and become more youthful. Naruto groaned and reached for his uniform. Give me 5 minutes to get dressed. He mumbled. Guy gave a thumbs up in the darkened room, and the flash from his teeth blinded a bleary-eyed Naruto. He worked on pulling the pants on, and was moving to the shirt. Guy's patience ran short at this point, and helped Naruto change into a green jumpsuit. At 9 am, an irate, bloody, and ridiculous-looking Naruto trudged to Ro's training ground. His 3 teammates bit their lips to stop their laughter and dropped it, but not before Hikari snapped a picture. You look rather youthful this morning, Tenzo said with a straight face. From that day on, Naruto set his alarm 10 minutes before 4 and was fully dressed before Guy arrived. 6 days later, Sunday at noon, Naruto was dragging himself up the steps after a grueling 8-hour workout with Guy and his mini-me. Normal shinobi would be sore for weeks, but with Naruto, a hot shower and relaxing afternoon eating ramen would cure every ache. However, waiting outside his door was his least favorite neighbor, Kakashi. The man had explained his odd behavior during their first meeting. Apparently he was supposed to be his Jonin sensei, but Naruto still didn't particularly like the man who just seemed to ignore you with his book yet still follow your every move. However, his captain and Yugao senpai always stressed manners, so Naruto put on the most polite and fake smile he knew. Hello, Kakashi. If you're looking for Captain Tenzo, he is on a mission today. Sundays were his free days. The rest of the squad had patrol. Kakashi, I smiled behind his book. I was actually looking for you, Naruto. I don't get my team for another week, and even then it will be months before we do many missions. The Hokage told me Sundays were your days off. No? Naruto nodded, and somehow the eye smile grew larger. Excellent. How would you like tracking lessons every Sunday from noon until 7? Naruto grinned slightly at that. He wasn't one to pass up more training. Maybe Kakashi wasn't that bad. Urka day of team placements. A fuming Urka told the brats their team placements, and same as Canon Sai replaces Naruto, and walked out. His favorite student was nowhere to be found. The ANBU commander just informed him that Naruto had an unusual placement, and a homeschooled boy would fill the void on Team 7. Even the Hokage refused to tell him anything, claiming Naruto would contact him if he wished, and that his new assignment and living quarters were classified for Jonin and above. And that translated to Urka, a mere chunin, standing no chance to find out about his knuckle-headed student. Oh Naruto, what have you gotten into now? Collapsing at his desk at home, Urka ran his fingers over his scar, grunting at the mysterious file box spotted on the bare wood. Being a chunin teacher, it wasn't uncommon for him to find such a scene if the Hokage wanted a certain lesson taught in the academy without the council interfering, or if Naruto hadn't been eating enough, a box or envelope would just magically appear. Sighing, he pushed the medium file folder box's lid away, immediately perking up at the sticky note saying "Real Naruto Uzumaki files classified." As Urka read each report, test, and past graduation attempt, his blood got hotter and hotter. By the end, Urka had tears from the realization he had screwed up. Thinking back, Urka realized he was to blame. He never called on Naruto in his class, believing the other teachers who said he would just cause trouble, and treated him like he was just a troublemaker, when in actuality Naruto's pranks were ingenious, horrible for the victim, but ingenious. Instead of realizing Naruto wasn't stupid and his pranks were more than just childish escapades, but elaborately planned missions, Urka had brushed off Naruto and believed treating him to ramen once a week made up for it. He didn't deserve a second chance, but a note on the last page gave him hope. One day he will visit you. Then Urka would apologize and make it up to him. Until then, Urka had several teachers to visit. Time skip 1 month, first patrol. This is it? Naruto asked, a bit miffed. He heard how his appointment to ANBU would let him bypass the dreaded D ranks that Kakashi complained having to lead his students on. But this C-rank patrol and guard mission of the hospital seemed to be the ANBU version of D's. No action, really moving through the rafters while suppressing his chakra. He barely had that down now, and remaining unseen for 12-hour shifts in uncomfortable positions. The 3 explosive notes he finished this morning for his first mission were itching to be used, but using explosives in the hospital were frowned upon. His patrol partner, Yugao, bopped him on the head. Yes, this is it. What did you think ANBU was all assassinations and sabotage? Naruto nodded seriously, thinking that yes, that is what he signed up for. Well, it's not. Every squad has both village duties and border patrol to go along with the higher level missions. Now be quiet, and go guard the front lobby. And remember the radio and shadow clones for emergencies. Naruto sighed and left for his mission. The posts for the ANBU split each floor into 2 sections. Team Row was assigned the bottom 2 floors, while another managed the top 3. From his perch, Naruto had a front row seat to all the hospital drama. It was horribly boring, but a difficult man at the desk looked promising. Sir, please calm down. I will not calm down. Not until you take me to my son. A simple C rank to River, they say. Simple my ass, he's been in heart surgery for 6 hours. A burly civilian waved his fist in a threatening manner, and the nurse gave the signal for his intervention. Code anger, Naruto whispered into the headset. Code anger translated into a civilian on the verge of physical violence. Appearing between the Mednin and the red-faced father, Naruto said the rehearsed lines Captain Tenzo drilled into his head the past 2 days. Sir, my apologies for any trouble, but the healers are doing their best. Please be patient and sit down. Naruto pointed a finger to the nearest seat, feeling very much like a crossing guard, rather than a shinobi. A fist comes at him, and only the reflexes his training ground into him allowed Naruto's hand to grab the meaty glob, pumping chakra to match the strength of the man 3 times his size. Calm down. Hell no, you ninja always order us civilians around, and I'm sick of it. He shouldn't even be a ninja. Take me to my son now. Yugao shunshin behind him, knocking him out with a tranquilizer. Naruto inclined his head gratefully, and 2 orderlies dragged the unconscious father away. Relieved, Naruto turned, nodded to the grateful, but perplexed nurse, probably not used to a 5'2" ANBU, and disappeared to his post again. Good work, Mouse, Yuga's voice praised from the headset. Naruto smiled slightly. Maybe guard posts weren't so bad. Chapter 2. Sunday Training Field 7. Naruto, in his off-duty gear, dived under a branch in pursuit of the package. Kakashi was having him practice the capture and retrieval aspect of ANBU, and his tiny summons Pakkon was deceivingly elusive for his size. Naruto refused to give up, however. Ramen was on the line. Ever since Naruto joined ANBU, he had a sneaking suspicion everyone hated ramen, or at least him going to get ramen. Monday through Saturday lunch and dinner were packed affairs to save time, while Sundays were too exhausting for him to want to trudge across town in the opposite direction of the apartment for ramen. The couple of times Hikari treated him, they always stopped at the Benkunaya bar and grill for active former ANBU. Deliveries were impractical as well for his favorite food. Naruto was stuck to instant ramen, and a thief was going around the complex that only stole the instant cups. It was an outrage, as the bastard was able to bypass every trap he set up, even the barrier seals. But Kakashi had given Pakkon a scroll to carry today. If Naruto caught him, he would be treated to unlimited ramen at Ikiraku's. Nothing would hinder his quest. Almost there. The pug diverted himself from a mud pit trap and blindly charged past another set of explosive tags. Closer. Pakkon rounded a corner where 5 clones waited. He dodged 3, but 2 more were waiting with a net and glue. I hate you, he growled in a rough voice as he tried to clean his paws off. Naruto smirked and grabbed the scroll. I win. A slow clap sounds from behind. Kakashi and Dragon materialized from the trees. Impressive, only 1 hour to capture, and even I couldn't track Naruto most of the time. Kakashi complimented with an eye smile. Dragon whistled. To keep up with a Ninkin after only a month. Not too shabby. Not good enough, but almost passable. Naruto beamed at Dragon's roundabout praise. Dragon was harsh at times. By monthly inter-squad training he led still left bruises on Naruto's spleen, but he was fair. If Dragon said it was almost passable, then it was almost good by normal standards. Then again, Naruto was in ANBU, everyone else's standards didn't apply to them. Thank you, Senpai Commander. Naruto bowed. Before he would have loudly proclaimed how of course he was awesome, but that died the day Urika almost did. Well, that and Tenzo tased him or burned a ramen cup every time he boasted or acted rude. So much precious wasted. I think you earned the ramen, Naruto, my treat. Kakashi noticed Dragon back away slightly to the side but didn't think much of it. Until he was flapping in the wind as Naruto forcibly dragged him towards the stand. What are we waiting for? Ramen calls me. Blessed ramen, here I come. Poor Kakashi could only hope to survive the hyperactive blonde's charge as the boy slipped from serious on-duty mode to kid mode. Ramen stand? Kakashi was regaining conciseness in time to see Naruto devour his 17th bowl. Keep him coming, Toki. Kakashi-senpai is paying. Naruto cheered. Toki chuckled, glad his favorite blonde was back. His stand needed the money. Naruto. Where have you been for a month? Even your apartment was cleaned out. I swatted Naruto with her towel to gain his attention. Seeing the red aura surround his big sister, he gulped. Well, I passed and am now a part of a special assignment for the Hokage, Kakashi interjected. ANBU weren't really supposed to advertise their status, those that figured it out fine. Otherwise, need to know only. He shoots Naruto a meaningful look, at which point the blonde nods. Yeah, a special assignment. Ninja stuff, can't talk about it. He grinned at her and she relaxed. Oh ho ho. That must mean you're closer to being Hokage, right, Naruto, and where's your headband? She smiled brightly, as did Toki. Naruto frowned slightly and their smiles turned to confusion. Heh, see, I don't really want to be Hokage anymore. The paperwork council's too much work for an awesome ninja like me. He said cheekily, only to yelp when, despite his captain being on a mission, a jolt shoots up his spine for every bragging word he spoke. Oh, and I'm trying to keep my passing status a secret, so if you could not say anything, please. Father and daughter softened their eyes and nod understanding. Kakashi was somewhat shocked at Naruto's life-long ambition changing, but realized he shouldn't be. It was common knowledge in the Jonin and ANBU circles that the third and Naruto had a sort of falling out after Naruto learned of his tenet. Since that night, the Hokage looked even older than normal and cringed every time he gazed at the pictures of a younger, smiling Naruto wearing his hat. Rumor was the boy had even taken to calling the Hokage by his proper name, scaring many. If Naruto called someone by their proper title, and they never had a Naru nickname, then Naruto respected them as a person and authority figure. An example of this would be Urika or Kakashi, neither ever receiving a playful butchering. But, if Naruto gave someone a personalized nickname and said person betrayed him enough to lose said nickname, it was the equivalent to being spit in the face and peed on by Naruto. So much like his mother. Oh. Then what is your dream, oh awesome ninja? Giggled, breaking Kakashi out of his musings. To be strong enough to protect those precious to me. And maybe get a ninja animal. He added absent-mindedly. Kakashi perked at this. A ninja animal? What kind? Was his little brother trying to emulate him to become a dog summoner? If so, Kakashi's private dreams of his own mini-me would be realized. He could rub it into Guy that his look-alike lived next door. Yeah, a cat, though ninja cats cost the pay of an S-rank mission, so it will take about a year before I can afford one. Still, cats are so cool. And there goes that dream, for cats were the opposite of Kakashi's hip and cool. Unless. Say, Naruto. Try this on. Naruto slurps a noodle and grabs the cloth, shoved his way. A mask. Naruto was hesitant. It almost felt like Kakashi wanted a clone. But surely the man wasn't that desperate to one-up Guy, was he? Kakashi, I smiled. Just try it on, okay? It makes you look cool. He shrugs and slides it over his face. Pulls out a hand mirror, and lets him look. He had to admit, he did look cool. I like it, Naruto says after a minute more of admiring himself. Kakashi's eye smile somehow got larger. Good, good. Phase 1 complete. He muttered, too low for Naruto to hear. Within a year Naruto would have a dog, not some smelly cat. Well, I have to get going, early training tomorrow and wall patrol. Naruto slid out from the bar and bolted across the rooftops at speeds unheard of for a fresh graduate. Kakashi couldn't be prouder, as his sensei's son already resembled a well-trained shinobi. A cough brings Kakashi back to the ramen bar and he blanches at the bill. F57 bowels. Tuki cackled and had dollar signs at the money he just made. 6 weeks later. Hiruzen puffed on his pipe, groaning at his jonin stupidity. A simple C rank turned into a B or a rank 1 after the group was attacked by the demon brothers, missing ninja from Kiri. Normally the procedure was to kill missing ninja and take their bounties, as interrogating every renegade genin and chunin wasted resources. But these two were from the Bloody Mist, an island nation so tight-lipped even Drea had yet to get reliable intel on the smallest of the Great Five in years, and these demon brothers had only defected 13 months ago. Get me Team Ro? He spoke to what appeared to be thin air. Time for Naruto to experience his first pickup mission. If only Kakashi hadn't insisted his team would continue the mission with or without backup, no one could be spared for that long. But Sarutobi couldn't justify forcing them to return without the village looking weak. It had to be the commanding officer's call. And Team 7's leader believed putting it to a vote. What is this, a council meeting? Why can't all my shinobi be like my ANBU? 6 hours later. Team Ro barely touched the branches, they went so fast. Naruto was forced to use his chakra to keep the whiplash from yanking his cloak's hood down. The mission wasn't urgent, but their captain wished to test their speed and agility after not being outside the village for weeks, in Naruto's case, ever. The verdict? Naruto held them up. 5-minute break, eat and drink. Tenzo signed. Rule 12 of ANBU mission parameters stated talking out loud was forbidden unless absolutely necessary. Yes, Captain, they signed back. Sorry for holding you guys back. Naruto bowed his head in shame. For all his speed, it would still take months before he could match his teammates in their ridiculous travel pace. Do not apologize, Mouse. When we get back up agility and speed practice, Tenzo assured him. By New Year you will be quicker than Wolf. Said Wolf scoffed silently at this. He was the second fastest among them without chakra. With chakra, Tenzo added, breaking the budding pride in Naruto and panic in Hikaru. 4 hours later, Ro landed around Team 7, who had taken to guarding the prisoners, Miyazu and Gazi, who were gagged and glaring. Tenzo stepped forward, him having the only necessary speaking role. Senpai. Team Ro, Confirmation 1-7 Ro, are here to apprehend the prisoners for questioning back in Konoha. Tenzo was stiff formal. At the apartments he bantered and relaxed around his old captain. On missions, Tenzo could put the daimyo to shame in etiquette. Thank you, Tiger. I take it this Mouse's first time on a pickup mission? Kakashi drawled, even as his eye bore into the smallest ANBU. For his part, Naruto didn't sweat or fidget, even as Sasuke and Sakura balked at him and Sai merely gazed without expression. Ah yes, senpai. You may leave now, we'll take it from here. Kakashi led the genin away. Naruto channeled chakra to his ears, a control exercise Hikari started him on a few days ago. He could only hold it for 30 seconds while mastered was an hour. To listen in on his old classmates and his replacement. Kakashi-sensei, who was that ANBU? He looked my age, Sasuke questioned, feeling weak. Ah, Sasuke. You will find there are shinobi younger than you three, but stronger than I am. Age is inconsequential to shinobi. To be a ninja is to negate any obstacle one has, such as being too old or too small. Kakashi hid his smile as he imagined Naruto bristling at the comment. Naruto cut the chakra off and did in fact bristle for a moment until Tenzo brought him back. Mouse. We will taking them back using the long method instead of sealing scrolls to get you used to it, and for sleep deprivation training. Naruto nodded, and everyone winced slightly. The long method involved locking their chakra up and binding them after checking for weapons. It would be a grueling 20-hour light jog. Come over here and draw the seals on them. I'll check them before you activate them to prevent an explosion. Naruto worked carefully, ignoring the two missing ninjas' fearful and hate-filled eyes. Within half an hour and a lesson on a new knot, Team Ro was off. Naruto stumbled, bleary-eyed and dirty, into his room. Not bothering to take his uniform off, he fell into bed. Guy and Kakashi were both on missions, and his team was off until tomorrow night. All was good, he could sleep. As he drifted off, Naruto considered what bad karma he had to have been given Tenzo as a captain on the mission. For the entirety of the 21 hours, Naruto was forced to be in the middle to clutch the prisoner's rope and strengthen it with chakra, the easy job. Until Tenzo decided he also had to work on point balancing with one hand while reciting the advanced theory of hand signs, all 12 of them, and the history behind them. Anytime he messed up either task, Naruto had to restart. Needless to say, it was tedious, and by the end his team was prepared to suppress him. If he tapped into the Kyuubi chakra for the first time, his frustration was palatable. All that was behind him though now, and Naruto was free of sadistic sensei until tomorrow night for hospital patrol. Week later. And that's all the intel we have. The goal is to bring back Ryuga alive for interrogation. Dragon barked. Naruto and his team were kneeled in the commander's dim office, being given their first A-rank mission since Naruto joined. Tenzo hadn't wanted this. He and the Hokage hoped to keep Naruto close for at least another month, but the village's safety came first, and Naruto's abilities made Ro the best squad to track down the traitor before he reached Rice. Even if none of them were fresh. Ryuga Ryushi, a slightly above average chunin, 22 years old, received a field promotion 3 years prior for his contributions in the Barrier Corps, but most of his colleagues couldn't name a single thing about him except he was a diligent worker. As they set out through the North Gate, Naruto couldn't help but notice nothing pointed to traitorous activities. Ryuga was just so average. That's what makes him the perfect spy. Yu Gao signed. Naruto cocked his head. Being mediocre in every way. Exactly. No ninja is able to remain so completely under the radar. If you ever find someone that has no life, hobby, quirk, or bad days minus, they're up to something. She explained. Mouse 200 clones, send out in pairs. When they find the trail, tell us. Tenzo ordered, deadly serious, as was Hikaru. Ryuga defected last night around midnight after his superior opened a loyalty investigation on him. It was now 7 am. He was part of the barrier team. The safety of Konoha rested on their shoulders. It only took 30 minutes for the trail to be found. Ryuga's chakra signature had been tagged leaving the barrier in the direction to Rice, and the man wasn't well versed in track evasion, making it child's play for Naruto. Now they were approaching the valley of the N, the border between the two countries. If he goes over border, permission to pursue? Yugao asks as they gain on him, Naruto clones, and Hikaru disabling the few traps set up. Yes, but once we set over the border, if we are captured or killed, we will be labeled missing ninja to keep Konoha from the backlash. That put a heavy silence on the group. There was only 2 reasons that directive would be made. The first is that the target belongs to said nation, and the other was the nation had a hidden village, meaning conducting missions, and not just passing through on their land was equivalent to openly declaring war. Somehow in the recent past, Rice had started their own village, and it was on Konoha's doorstep. Ryuga was close minus, he just made it past the valley. In his hands were the plans for Konoha's barrier points necessary for Orochimarusuma's plan during the Chunin exams. The original plan was for Ryuga to send the scroll with Kabuto next week, but the loyalty investigation changed everything. Ryuga was headed towards a better life, one where his true talent would be recognized, not stunted because he wasn't some big shot name. He hated pretending to be weak in Odo. He was a jonin, not a pitiful chunin. They would see Konoha would realize their mistake soon. Ryuga Ryushi. Surrender yourself, you're surrounded. Tenzo spoke with confidence, making his voice echo with chakra. Naruto clones hinged into different ANBU members circled in tantos drawn. The real Team Row were mixed in. Crap. They sent over 20 ANBU after me. But I'm just a Chunin, even if I'm a part of the barrier squad. Heh, I'll bet they'll underestimate me, and then I'll strike. He smirked arrogantly and pulled out a chakra-conductive knife, his pride and joy, preparing for an escape. Unfortunately for Ryuga, ANBU don't underestimate, especially those under Tenzo's care. He taught Naruto and the others from their first practice that ANBU treat babies the same way they treat cages with extreme prejudice. Formation C. 10 of the clones jumped close, puffing away with twice the normal amount, just before they connected. In the confusion, Yugao and Hikaru go in, Hikaru blocking the tenketsu on Ryuga's arms and legs while Yugao took out the weapon. Finally, Tenzo created wood bindings and Naruto shinshined behind Ryuga, knocking him out with a chop like Dragon taught him during the last practice. Tenzo sealed the traitor into a prisoner scroll, and the ANBU began to head back. Good work. Let's go minus down, and they hit the deck. A fist the size of a boulder grazed the crown of Naruto's head, cutting a strand. He shivered at the close call. An Akimishi. Hikaru led a stream of curses. Not just any Akimishi, that is Akira, an A- rank missing ninja. She defected 2 years ago, now we know where she went. In front of them was indeed an Akimishi, more muscle than fat though, and a music note headband adorned her forehead. You crossed the border, prepare to die, she taunted. Tenzo cursed inside. They just finished a gate patrol before being given this mission. No one was fresh, and Akira was bordering on elite Jonin 2 years ago. What level would she be now, studying in a new village? No, better to talk their way out than fight. Keeping Ryuga from escape was top priority. We have not crossed the border, I assure you. I suggest we go our separate ways instead of needless bloodshed. Tenzo reasoned. Akira just laughed. I say you cross the border, and your bounty alone, Woodland Tiger, will pay my food bill for a month. She expanded both arms, and the group scattered. Truth was, Akira was not actually looking for a fight. She was at less than half her chakra, and recovering from a mission. But orders were orders. She had to get Ryuga, take his intel, and then kill him. Konoha couldn't find out her master's plans. Wolf now. Tenzo yelled, and Hikaru landed on the right hand. Sending a lightning-enhanced gentle fist, it's stupid for other Hyuga to not use much ninjutsu, so much potential at the elbow. The arm shrinks to normal size, hanging limp. Hikaru is hit by the left hand, however, and is slammed into a tree. Yugao blocks another punch with her sword and preps the planned counter-attack, only for both to be blown away, screaming with blood pouring from the ears. How do you like my decapitating sound waves, kitty cat? Akira sneers, showing holes in her fingers letting out sound waves. She expands her whole middle, ready to squash the two. Wood-style tree limbs, Tenzo states quietly from behind, and 5 thick wood pillars rise to ensnare Akira. Meanwhile, Naruto and 2 clones pick up the unconscious Yugao and Hikari, taking them back to Konoha's side, but not before receiving a burst eardrum from a disrupted sound wave. Like this can hold me. Partial expansion jutsu. And 1 finger from the non-blocked hand enlarged, sending Tenzo into a tree with a sickening thud. Tenzo bursts into wood, and the real one rises out of the ground. Sound waves tear his armor apart, giving him deep lacerations in the torso. Take that, you bastard. She ground out. Akira had let loose the last of her chakra, and the wood bindings drained the rest away. She struggled to stay awake, but smirked, wanting to go out with a bang. Tenzo sees this and finishes with the plan. Now, mouse. Tenzo shouts as he slumps against a tree. Naruto switches with the destroyed clone. 6 hand signs later, and his second elemental jutsu impacts Akira's head. Wind style, air force palm, and a compressed vacuum of air fires into the woman's skull from his hand center, blowing her brains out. Mission accomplished. Tenzo whispered and fell unconscious. Captain. Naruto was frantic. After sealing what was left of Akira Akimishi, he lugged his captain over his shoulder, balance broken from his burst eardrum. It takes almost 5 hours for Naruto and clones to reach the patrol near the gates. Immediately his team was taken to the ANBU hospital and Naruto was rushed into a meeting with the Hokage commander and Danzo after a quick healing session. ANBU Agent Mouse, we are here to have an oral report on Ryuga's capture and apparent death, seeing as the scroll containing him was damaged beyond salvage when your captain Tiger was injured. The Hokage was grave. On one hand, Ryuga failed in handing over the information to whomever he was trying to, and an A-rank Rouge was taken out. On the other hand, they couldn't interrogate him, and both of the dead were damaged beyond a mind scan. A hollow victory, really. Hokage-sama. Team Ro, after a 12-hour shift, was summoned to track down the traitor Ryuga Ryushi. We set out from the North Gate. Naruto took a deep breath as he completed his report. His stomach churned as his superiors seemed to loom down on him. He followed orders to a T backup. Twice he saw an opportunity to jump in before the signal, or to rescue injured parties, and twice he let the opportunity slip past because of orders. Yes, they won. And yes, everyone was expected to survive and be back on rotation in a week. I see you blaming yourself, Mouse. Dragon cut into his thoughts. You were not ready for this mission yet, but you performed it to a high standard. We lost a valuable source of intelligence, but we kept everyone alive. That is most important here. Ryuga didn't escape, marking this as a successful mission. Do not coddle the boy. The mission parameters were clearly to bring Ryuga back and keep him from any outside forces. They did that. Being alive was preferable, but be grateful our secrets weren't leaked. Sarutobi stopped Danzo from tearing Naruto down. The boy was tired, injured, though he was mostly healed by now, and beating himself up over his inability to do more yet. Go rest, Mouse. You will spend the week under my tutelage until your squad is ready. Be at HQ tomorrow at 9. Oh, and the bounty will be split evenly between your squad. Dismissed. Naruto wordlessly disappeared in his shunshin, longing for his bed. You put the weapon in ANBU, but still you coddle him. For shame, Hirizen. Danzo sneered as he hobbled out. That was his first kill, correct? Sarutobi asked with an eye roll after the elder left. Dragon nodded. Tomorrow, it will hit him after he is rested and settled. I'll give him the talk. Sarutobi closed his eyes, wishing he could be the one to give it, but knowing Naruto still hadn't completely forgiven him. Very well then. Sunday, 2 months later. You'll have to do better than that, Naruto said as he danced around the field, dodging Sasuke's endless stream of fireballs. It was funny outmaneuvering his former rival, but he also felt bored. Was he really Rookie of the Year? Sheesh, I could take him without my hands now. Naruto had spent a week being Dragon's training dummy disguised as actual teaching. Naruto had walked into the HQ training room sick to his stomach as he realized he killed someone. He looked at his hands in horror at what he did, until the commander cleared his throat. Dragon told him bluntly. You kill, that's what a ninja does. You didn't enjoy it, that is good. That means you're human, but grow up. Killing and dying for the village is a part of our job. Now prepare yourself. You're mine this week. And without another word, Naruto was sent flying with a punch. Hell Week had commenced. Dragon called it dodge and speed training. Naruto had called it being a Dragon's Chew Toy 101. That was 2 months ago, and since then his team had upped their training to prevent such a simple enemy outclassing them with an unexpected trick. Naruto used his reward money to bribe a medic ANBU in how to patch up wounds better. Tenzo almost died from blood loss, and Naruto apparently should have sutured the cuts and checked for concussion before moving any of them. The medic, another Hyuga, was pleased to see someone taking a further interest in first aid, as only captains had to take courses over it, and if the captain was out, many squads were screwed beyond the absolute basics, as competent combat medics numbered less than 10 in the entire village. The others were basically doctors with a little ninja training. Naruto wasn't able to learn medical ninjutsu, but within a few weeks he could stitch, cauterize, and brace to just below battlefield standards in speed and quality. 3 bandit cleanups and a 2-week border assignment had forced Naruto to fully get over the killing is an absolute last resort feeling he had grown up with in the academy. Many shinobi in peacetime could find ways to just capture or evade targets and rarely had to end lives. ANBU wasn't like that. Though the force spent a large amount of time as silent watchers inside the walls, they got their hands dirtier than most. Naruto learned to accept it over time. It helped that Hikari took it upon himself to force Naruto to find a hobby. A small plant now greeted him after work every day from the living room window. Today Naruto had gone to the training grounds for his tracking lessons only to find Kakashi-senpai waiting with his genin team, a pale boy he'd never talked to before smiling creepily at him. Sasuke had taken one look at his black outfit and mask and smirked. As he was off duty and planned to go out to eat afterwards, Naruto had left his headband and emergency uniform sealed in a scroll in his pocket. No one but the Hokage and those above Chunin rank had caught on that the demon became a shinobi. While not imperative for him to hide the fact, the promise of a ramen buffet from Tenzo, if he managed to keep a low profile until the Chunin exams, was plenty of motivation. Dope. Trying to copy a ninja since you couldn't be one. In truth, Sasuke was curious. No one had seen Naruto since the graduation exam. One person swore they spotted him at Ikiraku's once 2 months ago, but nobody was sure. He had become a ghost. The Naruto standing in front of him was like a cat, slender, light on his feet, and deadly quiet. "Hello, Kakashi-senpai." Naruto chose to ignore his old schoolmates. He technically outranked them, and if he started insulting them, Tenzo would have his hide for setting a bad example. Even while on missions he finds out. "Are they practicing with us?" "Hello, Naruto." "Yes, my cute little genin are starting tracking to prepare for the Chunin exams in 4 months." Naruto nodded in understanding. "The commander debriefed us on that last week, so many patrols and guard stations, and we get the worst one," Naruto grumbled. Team Ro was on second stage duty, meaning they were going to be stuck in Anko's personal playground. Captain Tenzo already had 2 practices a week scheduled in the forest to prepare and set up checkpoints. Kakashi winced slightly in mutual sympathy, not missing those days of monotonous watching of stupid genin play fighting. "You'll be fine," he reassured weakly, not believing himself for a second. Many ANBU tried to be put on medical leave or long-term missions when Konoha hosted the exams. But enough of that. "Naruto, you are going to be the target for these 3 today." Naruto narrowed his eyes at the genin while Sasuke and Sakura scoffed. "Like that baka could be anything special. I bet Sasuke will find him easily." Sakura shrieked loudly. "Why should I waste my time with them, senpai? If I'm here to be a target, then I would rather go and nap at home." Naruto turned to leave. "If you don't get caught, I'll teach you the second step to your wind manipulation." That stopped the young ANBU. He finally mastered the leaf-cutting exercise, but nobody knew or had time to tell him what the second stage was until after the Chunin exams. "And teach you a wind jutsu tonight." That did it. "Of course, I'd like to help. Welcome to hell, genin, and just try to catch me," Naruto said with a grin before Naruto was replaced with a log without any smoke or seals. Kakashi chuckled at his students. Well, 2 of them, the third was blank expressions. "Naruto is on a special assignment, so to say, which is why he isn't on a team and you haven't seen him," Kakashi answered the unspoken questions. When they paused to contemplate his words, the Jonin decided to motivate them. "Well, you have 2 hours, so I'd start tracking him. His specialty is traps, and tracking him will be difficult as his ears have become almost as good as an Inuzuka. And his chakra sensing will be ANBU level within the year." Went unsaid. Kakashi couldn't crush his students' hopes before they began. Watching his students dart into the forest, Kakashi hoped his plan to nip his students' egos in the bud would work. Ever since the Wave Mission Team 7 had begun thinking themselves the best in Konoha simply for surviving Zabuza and beating his apprentice. Cockiness and arrogance killed more shinobi than many would care to admit, and Kakashi was determined to not let his students become an engraving on the memorial stone. If they were beaten by Naruto, their pride would be crushed, allowing Kakashi to build them back up properly. As Naruto dodged another of Sasuke's sloppy punches, he sighed. Just because he kept out of reach of them today, and ended up capturing them, Sasuke demanded that power like Naruto should just drop on his knees and hand over his hours of training. Impossible. It would have been worse if the blonde had divulged that Kakashi tutored him. Naruto finally grew tired of the game and shunshined himself behind the older boy, knocking him out with a chop, following the same plan of attack he used on Ryuga. Basic, but effective. Dragon always said flashy jutsu were fine, but a kunai or fist usually got the job done. Lately Naruto had started to see the logic in that worldview. Sakura and Sai stood a bit speechless. Here was the dead last, taking out the top graduate with little effort. Sai was of course stronger than Sasuke, though he was ordered to only show it in emergencies, but he was still surprised. Kakashi clapped slowly from a tree. That was a very decisive victory, Naruto. Sakura-sai, take Sasuke home please and let him recover his pride alone. Oh, and you are not allowed to talk about your training here today or about seeing Naruto, am I clear? He bore his eye into them, releasing killing intent. Sakura and Sai give affirmations and carry their unconscious teammate away. After they vanish down the path, Kakashi smiles at his least annoying student. Naruto, I believe I owe you a jutsu. 6 hours later. Wind style, drilling air bullets. Naruto whispered on Team Row. One had to learn to barely whisper the attacks unless in a pinch, and his 3 teammates actually had enough control to not use the speech release for focusing chakra on the lower ranked jutsu, pushing his stomach out with chakra before compressing it, expelling 2 masses of compressed air towards a boulder twice the size of Kakashi. The 2 hit, and the boulder was cracked straight through the middle. That's enough for the day, Kakashi ordered, and Naruto collapsed to one knee. For not completing your elemental manipulation, yet you show surprising ability with the A-rank jutsu. With practice and cutting the waterfall, I'm sure you'll be able to get up to 6 bullets. Kakashi smiled as Naruto groaned and fell face first into the dirt. Of course, using a stronger call would give you a cushion of control. He added. You know why I can't do that, but thanks, Naruto mumbled. I have tower patrol for the week so I can send clones out to work on the waterfall. He wasn't happy about being given the right corner position for the entire week. It was the only spot that required a constant stream of the chameleon jutsu. Yugao and Tenzo swore it was to make him master it, but Naruto suspected they were just too lazy to do it themselves. Hey, senpai? Naruto asked hesitantly after a moment. Kakashi gave the go-ahead motion. I asked the Hokage about my parents again, and he said he didn't know about them, but he had that look in his eye, the one when he's lying to me, so I was wondering if you knew about them. Kakashi winced inside, hating himself for what he was about to do. I can't answer that, Naruto, so stop asking, he said harshly. Naruto flinched at the tone, and Kakashi went back to his cheerful tone. Anyway, it will take months to spilt the waterfall. Take your time, and I'll see next week. And Naruto was left alone to crawl back to his apartment. Next day, after shift. Naruto rolled his muscles, stretching after a tedious day of standing without being seen and listening to the Hokage do paperwork. A few times Jonin and Genin squads would show for mission assignments or reports, but the sound of stamping was the only break in silence. Then Kakashi's team came in for another C rank, a diplomatic one requiring the Hokage's approval. Kakashi. I thought I told you to stop spending time at the memorial stone for hours. You're 3 hours late. The Hokage growled slightly. Naruto latched onto the words memorial stone. I've heard of that, maybe my parents are on there. Why didn't I think of that before? Naruto, longing for any scrap of his past, determined himself to unravel the mystery of where he came from. After that, Naruto had counted the seconds until his freedom. He set a new record for changing into his street clothes and darted out of the dim base. At the stone, Naruto ran his fingers along each name. Kido Usho Sakura Uzumo Kushina Uzumaki. Bingo. Writing the name down inside the cover of the history book Tenzo had assigned, Naruto took off back to HQ. Kushina was the only Uzumaki, making her most likely his mother. If the third never told him, that meant it was another secret, a secret kept in the basement of the records vault. At Dragon's office. Excuse me, Dragon-sama. Naruto stood ramrod straight, showing the most respect he could. He had to get on Dragon's good side. Ah, mouse. What does my favorite punching bag need? He sounded amused. Naruto resisted the urge to twitch, missing his mask already. I request to be assigned the records room rotation this week. Naruto said bluntly. Dragon hunt. Really? Now why would a young agent like you request the most monotonous post? Naruto had his excuse ready. This week Captain and Yugao-senpai are leaving on Wednesday for a special mission, while Hikari-senpai is putting in for a vacation until they return Sunday. I wish to earn extra money for a better sword and extra fuinjutsu lessons from Drea-sama when he returns for the Chunin exams. I am told the records rotation pays more than others. Everything Naruto said was true. He did need extra money. Records paid equal to a C rank and a half each shift to bribe Drea-sama into teaching him for a couple hours on seals. Naruto was on level 2, and level 3 was proving to be too much without a tutor to clear some things up, and his squad did leave him for the week. Naruto originally would have taken the several days off as a reason to stay in a secluded training ground, camping supplies in hand, and work non-stop on wind manipulation and his new jutsu. Now he'd send 10 clones to make progress on the waterfall, while he snooped for his birth certificate and probable mother's file. Very well, report tomorrow to Lizard for your post. You'll be in the lowest basement for the next week. Dragon shooed him away. When his subordinate was out of earshot, Dragon allowed a chuckle. It's about time you started searching. You're ready to know, even if our Hokage can't see it yet. Though his manipulation skills need work. Oh well, I guess another private session is in order. Apartment. Naruto was too giddy to sleep. He would have a week to send clones into the complex. His parents were at his fingertips. It was this elation that caused Naruto to be on the floor, kunai pressed to his neck. Mousy-chan, you make this too easy, a sultry voice whispered in his ear. A shiver ran down his spine at that. Only one person was like this. Anko-senpai. You made your point, please get off of me. Naruto tried to stay calm. He found that when dealing with Anko, going off the deep end just turned her on. AW, but this snake likes mice for snacks. Why can't you play with me? She pouted and got off him. Naruto breathed out, letting his heart beat slow. I take it Kurena left you for Asuma tonight again? Naruto asked. Since she moved into an apartment down the hall a month ago, she always bothered him, Kakashi, or Yugao when Kurena wouldn't let her in her own apartment upstairs. Anko pouted. Yeah, and no one to mess with at tea, and she looked hopefully at Naruto. No, absolutely not. I won't pay for your dango. Or let you stay here tonight on my couch, even if you do swear it's more comfortable than yours. He made the X sign with his arms to emphasize his objection. What if I taught you how to make and use a sleeping poison this week so you won't have to buy them for missions? Damn it. He had been trying to decipher that recipe from the Common Poisons and Sleeping Toxins for Dummies book for weeks, but there was a reason. Poison makers were very rare, as he couldn't figure out the right mixture balance, and kept killing the rats he bought for practice. And really, the fact that in Naruto most shinobi couldn't do a bit of everything made them little more than magical soldiers. Instead, they should all understand the basics of most areas, if only to save money on supplies. Money didn't grow on trees, and his squad's allotted supply funds never seemed to cover the want items like basic poisons that made transporting civilians or the injured easier, as carrying them while awake was dangerous if attacked, and stasis scrolls were dangerous for non-shinobi as it linked to one's chakra, and civilians didn't have a developed network. Team Ro was lucky to not need to sedate anyone yet, because a pack of 3 needles cost more than a full C rank mission. Fine. I'll pay for 10 plates of dango, and you can sleep on my couch tonight. But I'll be able to make that sleeping poison this week. He relented. When I'm through with you, you'll be completely immune to it, and be able to whip it up and store in 2 minutes. Dango, here I come. And she charged towards her favorite dango shop, Naruto over her shoulder. Chapter 3. Next day, Records Tower. Agent Mouse, reporting for patrol duty of the Records Tower. Naruto greeted his temporary commanding officer, Lizard, looking straight ahead into the dimly lit office. Lizard glanced at him, and the papers Naruto handed him. So you're the brat dragon promised me for the week? What did you do to get dumped down here? Lizard drawled. It was obvious he was bored. The talk of HQ was that 10 years ago the man was one of the top ANBU, one of the division captains. But then he received a debilitating injury, ensuring he'd never be an active shinobi again. Problem was, he knew too many secrets, and a lot of higher-ups wondered if letting him go would put the security of the village at risk. The council debated for days about having him killed, half-hearted of course, but they were ninjas, or to just trust the man to never give out secrets, or be kidnapped by another village for said secrets. The compromise? Captain Lizard became the bookkeeper, the man who knew every single grain of dirt on Konoha. He never had any family or real hobbies before, so he lived inside the complex among the shadows of Konoha's darker side. Nothing, sir, I just needed the extra money for intermediate sealing lessons as an orphan. Any extra skills I want to learn I need to pay for. Oh, sealing is an obscure art. Why would an ANBU wish to learn more than the basics? Lizard knew who Naruto was. Heck, he was one of the ANBU that found Naruto laying next to Kushina's corpse, and all of Naruto's records were kept in the basement. Dragon had suggested Naruto be given access to that level about damn time in Lizard's humble opinion, but Naruto wouldn't know about his heritage until after he found the records, unless someone introduced him to the art. My captain recommended it, and I am picking it up at a relatively quick pace. I am almost finished with level 2, but the barrier between level 2 and 3 makes learning without a tutor unwise. I already littered our training ground with enough potholes. But why would you waste your money on more lessons? The basics are more than enough for an ANBU squad, and I don't hear any desire to join the barrier corps. The reason the boy wanted to know more was obviously because sealing was in the Uzumaki blood, but that didn't mean Lizard couldn't mess with the brat. His day was monotonous, and picking on youngsters always made his day brighter. I guess I just like it. Naruto couldn't really explain it. Sealing was just enjoyable, even when his shock tags kept exploding. Lizard seemed to be unimpressed. Why not learn a more applicable skill? Naruto seemed to stiffen at this, and Lizard smirked. Degrade in Uzumaki's sealing, and they lost it. He prepared for a heated rant, or passionate demonstration. Every Uzumaki he ever met did it. Fuinjutsu would be valuable to the core if I can attain level 5 or higher, as then I would be qualified to maintain the security barrier and seals at HQ, thus cutting out the middleman and internalizing more of ANBU's procedures. Except this one. Lizard frowned. He should have known that Killjoy Tenzo would feed that duty crap to his young charge. What Lizard didn't know was that Naruto, like any true Uzumaki, did in fact have a don't mock the seals rant prepared. But like any good ANBU, one that was deathly afraid of their captain and other superior officers, Naruto bit his tongue and went down the path of not being punished for insubordination. Psst. You're the only boring one I've met. Now get out of here. Trout is waiting for you on B5 for your shift. Lizard waved Naruto away. Naruto bowed and left, confused at the last statement. The only boring one I've met. Most ANBU are boring though. He pushed those thoughts aside as he reached floor B5. A brown-haired ANBU waits, his trout mask almost ghoulish in the fluorescent light. Agent Mouse, I am your commanding officer for the week. You can call me Captain Trout. It is an honor to work with you, Captain. Naruto's heart raced, so close was he to finding out about his past. Respect good for one so young. Which squad do you come from? Team Row, Captain. That explains it. Tenzo's team. Next time you see him, remind that idiot he owes me 600 ryo, okay? Trout says offhandedly, like he really didn't care that Naruto's captain owed him so much money. Oh, of course, sir. Best to go with the neutral route. Good, my little koha. He pats Naruto on the head, much to the blonde's hidden ire. Follow me, I'll teach you the ropes today, and tomorrow you'll be assigned a sector to watch over. And with that, Naruto learned the ins and out of Konoha's House of Secrets. That evening, Naruto trekked to Anko's playground, the Forest of Death, for his first poisons lesson, mainly how to properly gather the needed herbs and storing them to prevent spoilage long term. Gliding over the rooftops, Naruto focused on the small notebook in his hands, where he was carefully mapping out his plan for the rest of the week. From his time with Captain Trout, he had deduced that each ANBU was given half a floor to patrol and report any trouble in, as well as sweep dust to keep the files clean, though Trout said the mice were an ongoing problem to not bother with. Naruto figured that he would focus on his actual job while pairs of clones transformed into mice would work their way down, from the least restricted section to the darkest village secrets files. Naruto wasn't stupid. Reading his file could be excused, but digging into other files would result in having the QB extracted and put into another child, in other words, execution. So, the clones had orders to only open the boxes labeled Naruto Uzumaki Kushina Uzumaki and October 10th. Anything else was off limits. He could only hope that saved him if anyone ever figured out what he was doing. Arriving outside the tall, seal-enforced fence, because no way would Konoha have a simple playground-grade fence to keep out the tigers, leeches, and whatever other mythical beast that lived there, he flared his chakra and waited for Anko. He had to spend hours every week with his squad in the hell hole. No way would he go in there alone. Hey, Mouse-chan. Welcome to paradise. Anko's exuberant greeting came from behind him, and a kunai was at his jugular. Naruto flinched, despite himself. Big mistake. Oh ho, I can smell your fear. I like it almost as much as I love your blood. A cut appears above his mask. Anko licks the liquid off of her kunai. I paid your dango tab for help with poisons, not seduction lessons, Naruto said. Anko sniggered, but released him. AW, is Little Mouse afraid of the big bad snake? Well, anyway, let's go. The best species of poppy seeds and sleeping herbs are just up ahead. Anko jumped over the fence without a glance back, and after an eye roll, Naruto followed. Over the following 3 hours, Naruto learned the ingredients for not just the sleeping drug, but also a paralyzing one. Anko insisted and found that the problem was what part of the plant he was gathering from the top leaves led to death if not treated, while the flowers on the ground of the plant just sedated the victim. Now, Mousy-chan, it's time for your immunity training, Anko said happily. Naruto paled and backed away. No, that's okay. I have patrol tomorrow anyway. He tried to reason, but Anko's grin turned viscous. And I know that shift isn't for 16-hour. The dose I'm giving will knock you out for 8 the first time. She sticks him with a senbon as he attempts flight. Don't worry, before the week is up you'll be immune to 3 times that amount. Her cackle was Naruto's last remembrance of lucidity. Last day of patrol. Naruto Uzumaki, born October 10th to Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze. Naruto sucked in a breath at that last name. The 4th Hokage was his father. He, the village scapegoat, was the son of their greatest hero. Oh, the irony. Blinking away, tears the young ANBU reads on through the thick box that told him the truth from his birth to the decision to enlist him in ANBU. This mess of emotions all started when Naruto's clone on his floor, ironically, discovered the file box Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. The clone was confused over if reading it was allowed. The name Namikaze meant somehow Naruto was linked to the man who sealed the QB, but was it just notes over the seal? And if it was something else, what was it? Dispelling its partner, the clone waited patiently, and when its creator arrived in a measured step, it too dispelled, leaving the identity-searching boy to himself. Within an hour, Naruto was livid. He had a godfather, the Sannin, Drea, who had refused to see or have anything to do with him. In Drea's notes to the Hokage, Naruto reminded him too much of a broken past, and he trusted his sensei to raise the boy as his own. Problem was, the council declared Naruto a military asset at the age of 2, meaning no one could adopt him, not even an old student of his father, Kakashi, or his father's old guard members that explained Genma offering Senbon lessons for free. It was ridiculous. From what Naruto read within the file, he was deemed too valuable to be entrusted to one person or clan, but the reports showed that Jinchuriki needed to be filled with love in their lives to keep them loyal. That led to the Hokage befriending him at a young age. The notes from that section mentioned it was originally to build loyalty to the Hokage, but bloomed into actual like of Naruto, and Naruto entering the academy early at the age of 6 in the hopes of early graduation. His real academy scores had been added, and the investigation that followed, leading to 3 teachers being fired, and 2 being dropped from active duty. Naruto felt a vindictive pleasure at that, but it turned to bitterness as he recalled all the times Naruto would swear up and down that he did hit the target and get a 10 out of 10, or that his math test wasn't an F, only to have his Jiji ignore him or tell him to just show them kindness when he cried that the taijutsu instructors hit him harder than the others. A subtle sabotage, swept under the rug as the official reports just fabricated the need for a new staff, or minor infractions that built up for the reason that the teachers were fired. The only good part of his findings was a picture of his parents and him in the belly, but they were still together. Carefully, Naruto sealed the picture inside a scroll and placed the box back exactly the way it was before. He wiped his tears, knowing that no matter how much he wanted to, he couldn't storm into the Hokage's office and demand answers, or track down his godfather to beat him up, or even yell at Kakashi, who was his father's prized student. He had to make a believable reason to how he figured it out, as it was clear nobody wanted him to know their reasons. According to the last report from a month ago, was Iwa and Kumo coming after him. But Naruto read the real reason that was spelled out among the good intentions. His stability and loyalty weren't unshakable now, and until he proved to be properly stable and loyal to Konoha and the Hokage, he was to be kept in the dark despite his maturity and rank. Naruto considered waiting until the Hokage made the first move towards reconciliation. Is my pride worth it? He wondered and came up with the obvious no. His stupid stubbornness was not worth hindering both his career or his knowledge. Time began to mend the fence, he decided. After he was officially in the know of his past, he'd have plenty of time to beat the crap out of his former Jiji. Besides, he did miss the man, despite everything. Hokage's office, after shift. Naruto breathed deeply before knocking. Come in. The familiar aged voice spoke. Naruto opened the door hesitantly. Ah, Naruto, my boy. Do you need anything? Sarutobi was guarded, but hopeful. Naruto only showed up in his presence for the guard rotation, and that one mission report both had been awkward, as Sarutobi knew the boy was hiding his bitterness. It was the only reason he kept Naruto's legacy a secret from him, despite his commander's rather vocal protests. A Jinchuriki that wasn't all the way trusting of its Hokage couldn't be given more reasons to be angry. Once Naruto forgave him and calmed down, he'd take him aside and explain why it was for his own good. Kumo and Iwa were large threats, and that his godfather was always out protecting the village from spies. Even if it was partially bull crap, the reasoning was sound and believable. Please forgive me, Naruto. Perhaps some bonding time would work. On the matter of letting Naruto decide, Sarutobi was waiting for Naruto make the first move. Maybe he should just bite the kunai and do it himself. He wasn't just worried for his position, though a few sharks had started circling when they figured out he and the village Jinchuriki weren't as chummy as before. Naruto had become a second grandson to him, and he'd be damned if he let the boy stay sullen. Oh, I was just wondering. Would you like to go get some ramen? If you're not busy, I mean. Naruto turned away to hide his slight blush. The ANBU posted Gamma squad, according to the roster, breathed a sigh of relief. Many ANBU were tired of their new konoha and their esteemed leader not speaking to each other. Most quietly agreed the Hokage should have made the effort first, but were proud Naruto took the initiative, demonstrating loyalty and honor. Of course. Let me grab my wallet. My treat, all you can eat. He smiled in amusement when Naruto lit up at the offer and nodded. "Thank you, Hokage-sama," Naruto blurted out. He may have to bite down his pride and let his anger go mostly, at least minus, but he would never call him Jiji again, both for the principle and to escape his captain's wrath. "You don't have to be so formal, Naruto. Even though you're my ANBU, outside of duty we can be familiar with one another," the Hokage bit out painfully. The man wanted Naruto to be like he used to be minus the extreme loudness. "I can't, Hokage-sama." Sarutobi raised his eyebrow at this. "Oh, and why not?" All the ANBU, Naruto included, grew cold and Captain Hawk answers. "He's on Rotenzo's squad," he said like that answered everything. All the ANBU nodded along, but Sarutobi was still confused. Why would it matter to be on Tenzo's squad? He's formal, but what does that matter to Naruto? "If he found out I didn't show you proper respect, and he always finds out, then all my ramen would be burned, and I'd spend a week being chased by leeches and wood spikes." Naruto shivered. Tenzo made it obvious that calling superiors by nicknames would be unwise. Just ask Hikaru what happened when he called the Jonin commander Pineapple-sama during a debriefing last year. "I see," Sarutobi said, understanding completely a captain could punish their subordinates for breaking of any rules, and technically, it was against the rules to refer to those in the higher echelons without proper titles. Minutes later, the Hokage, Naruto, and the other ANBU were sitting in Ikiraku's waiting for the heavenly broth, the squad being rewarded for stopping Konohamaru from bothering the Hokage all day. "So, brat, what have you been up to on your week off?" Raven asked. Squad Gamma consisted of Hawk, Raven, Elk, and Lemur, and were oftentimes teamed up with Ro for duty, and group practice making them familiar enough with Naruto's schedule. "I took the records rotation, boring, but the paycheck was worth it," Naruto said after eating 6 bowls. At this they nod. A week of records rotation did pay nicely, but very few did it willingly, as it was even worse punishment than watching Konohamaru Sarutobi at the academy. "And Enko taught me 2 poisons, a sedative and a paralyzer, as well as beginner resistance to them. Most of the common ingredients for poisons were free for the taking in the Forest of Death, or surrounding areas, but gathering said ingredients and mixing them properly was too difficult without instruction, even with a guidebook allowing suppliers to overcharge shinobi." Hawk thought for a moment before speaking. "Say, Naruto, would you be willing to teach me those 2 poisons? My squad does a fair amount of retrieval and prisoner escorts. The pre-made ones always bankrupt us." Sarutobi frowned slightly at this obvious hardship to his shinobi as he listened, but didn't interrupt, wanting to see how Naruto interacted with his comrades. "Sure, if you teach me 2 of those advanced trapping knots." Naruto wasn't running a charity, and the 2 he was talking about were perfect for anchoring wire or rope in high-speed wind conditions, and seeing as Naruto had a wind element or could travel to the land of wind, it was needed, but still be able to be activated with a touch of chakra to the lead string. Problem was, almost no one was adept at those knots, and the book that contained this knowledge was pricey. But Hawk was the second best trapper in active, and Naruto was 6th already according to the leaderboards, and thus could do them in his sleep. "Deal," Hawk said immediately. "Kakashi won't be back from his mission by tomorrow. We can start the lessons then." Naruto smirked, and they shook hands, both drooling at the prospect of new abilities. "Of course, even with those knots you'll still be years behind me," Hawk added, and Naruto scowled slightly. "I am pleased to see my ANBU squads work to make each other stronger to protect Konoha," Sarutobi chuckled. Naruto gave a real grin from behind his face mask and dug into his 10th miso ramen with gusto. For the next hour Naruto joked around and reconnected with the Hokage, the ANBU giving them space after eating their share. Tuki and Iame stole glances at the 2, but withheld themselves from conversation to allow the much-needed bonding time to flourish. 2 days later, and Naruto was back for Ro's first practice in almost a week, his wallet stuffed and a weight off his shoulders. Well, almost. He didn't trust his cage on a personal level anymore. He'd die for him, defend his decisions for the village, and kill for him. Trust him to tell him the truth? Hell no, the last few months had allowed Naruto to come to the conclusion that while despite everything he didn't hate Hiruzen Sarutobi and could rationalize his choices for the sake of the village didn't mean the man wasn't going to incur his wrath later minus. The Hokage seat was most definitely not for him, and that he personally hated what the position made someone become. His dream of protecting his precious people and getting a ninja cat was noble enough for him. Thank you very much. I'm glad we're all here. I take it you two were productive. Tenzo asked, the ghoul face he was known for shining despite it being daylight. I did records rotation, learned 2 poisons paralyzing and sedative to save our team budget, and my clones can almost make a dent into the waterfall, Naruto reported. Yugao ruffled his hair. That's great, Mouse. Those 2 will indeed save our wallets. I think you deserve some of my homemade brownies. Everyone else paled at that. Yugao was just as deadly with the kitchen as she was with the sword. Naruto smiled weakly. Of course, senpai. I'd love some of your brownies to dump in the garbage. I lounged around for the week and regret nothing, Hikari said bluntly. Tenzo rubbed the bridge of his nose. Hikari was normally a hard worker, but at times he resembled either a Nara or a hyperactive toddler. Well, Wolf, I'm truly glad you relaxed the whole time, Tenzo said, sounding the opposite. Today we'll be working on combination attacks and underground battle maneuvers, as I noticed on my mission that most can't fight effectively in cramped passageways where jutsu is unwise and many formations have to be altered. To fix that we'll be learning them today, and then taking the sewer shift to practice. Naruto bit back a groan. The sewers had to be combed through every month to check for any activity or traces of intruders. Rarely did a captain request that particular job, and never was it done for training. Oh, and Wolf? Tenzo smiled placidly. Yes, Captain. I took the liberty of putting you in the corner for the next 5 office rotations. I hope you don't mind the extra training. Not at all, Captain. I live for it, Wolf replied dryly. Perhaps he should have lied and said he read the beginner medical scrolls he bought. No, the man has eyes everywhere. 3 Tuesdays later, bi-monthly gambling night. Civilians and lower-ranked ninja unwind away from their teammates after spending hours of every day with each other. It was common for shinobi and civilians in some cases to lead 2 groups of friendship, the on-duty one where ninja would die for their teammates, and the off-duty acquaintances that never became more than skin deep. Once one reached jonin level, however, they realized sticking with those you would take a kunai for made for a much more relaxing downtime. Many jonin associated with only other jonin, ANBU, and the few up-and-coming chunin. It allowed them to vent about the scumbags on their last A-rank seduction mission, or whine about the Hokage assigning a squad too many assassination missions in a month, causing the squad to contemplate whining like genin for something new. It was this comradeship that kept each one sane and voluntarily hanging out with their teams away from work more times than not. This was the scene ANBU Squad Rho was participating in with others of their station. Naruto stared at his target with calculating eyes, who stared back at him through the dragon mask. Neither would give away anything with their faces. A true test of Naruto's luck was about to happen. He planned to clean his commander out, after catching him red-handed swiping his ramen and placing fresh vegetables in their spot. Pranking was forbidden and unwise as Dragon seemed to have a Naruto sense minus, but humiliation at the bi-monthly poker game. That, he could do. That, and if the gossip was right, his winnings would let him barter for something useful later. Something wrong, Mouse? Dragon asked, coolly hiding his mirth. Stealing Naruto's ramen after every shopping trip proved to be an excellent workout in avoiding traps. Now he could clean the boy out of his savings, and thus making him reliant on the approved supplies Dragon dropped off. It was foolproof. Too bad he never heard of Naruto's Uzumaki luck, and the other ANBU and Jonin hid their knowledge of the fact well. Even the Hokage had to hide his eagerness at Dragon getting his ass handed to him. The man had foolishly bet an 8-year-old Naruto he couldn't infiltrate T and I and swipe Ibiki's favorite torture chain. 2 days later, a dusty and tired Naruto set said chain on Sarutobi's paperwork and walked out while cackling. He learned his lesson. No, of course not, Dragon-sama. Let's have some fun. Naruto smiled brightly, the cloth mask concealing its morphing into a smirk. 30 hands later and Naruto was the proud owner of Dragon's most prized belonging, his limited edition collection of Ika Ika, all 40 volumes. They had bet their most treasured objects after Dragon lost all his on-hand money in A-rank missions worth, and Dragon accepted, thinking his hand was good enough and he'd win both his money back and whatever was sealed in the scroll Naruto carried around for the past several weeks. He suspected it was something from Naruto's file, and he couldn't let him keep it for his own security. I give up, Dragon finally said, the pain evident in his voice. Nobody moved as he got up and left the room, too prideful to attempt a trade back. 3 seconds passed before the room erupted. Yes. That's my chibi konoha. The only ANBU to beat Dragon at anything. That's right, bitches, Team Row rules. Hikaru boasted to the room, which everyone ignored. Naruto escaped the headlock Hikaru tried with practiced ease. Ika Ika. Looks boring, Naruto said innocently as he flipped through it, pretending to not notice the spike of killing intent from Yugao and surprisingly Tenzo that died down as he threw them in a pile. Kakashi and Sarutobi gasped. If you do not wish to honor the sacredness that is Ika Ika Empire, I would gladly take it off your hands, my cute little student, Kakashi said way too cheerfully. Sarutobi snarled at his subordinate for trying to steal his precious. Don't be silly, Kakashi. Naruto knows I would be the best choice to guard such a precious supply. The two men glared at each other. Sarutobi prepped to summon Enma while Kakashi inched his headband up. Everyone else in the room sweat dropped, and Hayate prepared to play the part of Proctor if need be. Naruto, however, wasn't going to let that happen. I might be willing to trade for them. What do you have? Naruto asked, in full bartering mode. At this point the Jonin were slightly shocked at the prospect of a 12-year-old trading the smut for something, while the few ANBU just shook their heads. Naruto had started getting a reputation of trading other members for training, whether it be survival lessons or tactics, or the occasional jutsu. Team Gamma was a prime example, as Hawk and Naruto had an ongoing account. Kakashi knew the drill, and put his best deal forward. Give me those precious, and I'll teach you both a D-rank jutsu for water, fire, earth, and lightning, and buy you a chakra-conductive Kakuto. I know you've been eyeing one and that you wouldn't be able to afford it until after the exams, even with the pocket change there. Most in the room believed Naruto would agree instantly, which he would have except the Hokage, whom he was back on civil terms with, interjected. Naruto, my surrogate grandson. Give me those books, and not only will I double Kakashi's offer, but I will tell you your parents' identities. The room stiffened. Naruto's lineage wasn't hard to pinpoint. Heck, he looked like a clone of his father and now began to act like him too since Tenzo gained command of him. Oh, you mean Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki? Naruto said, with a cocky smirk. Sarutobi and Kakashi face faulted while the others either broke out laughing or gaped. How did you know? My mother's name is on the memorial stone, Hokage-sama, and as for my dad, he paused for dramatic effect. I didn't until you confirmed it. Naruto lied, covering up his borderline illegal searches. Sarutobi went bug-eyed at this, falling for it completely. To be honest, the Hokage was just using this obsessive bartering to tell Naruto his parents' identity. Kakashi knew. The other room members knew, and Naruto knew the Hokage had been chickening out from having a private heart-to-heart on the matter. It was the only reason Naruto didn't go nuts on the man for his little ploy. Kakashi chuckled, remembering another blonde who had a flair for making higher-ups tell him what he wanted to know without lifting a finger. But you know, Hokage-sama, I'll accept Kakashi-senpai's deal and you'll still be giving me everything you offered minus the information. Why would I do that? Sarutobi demanded, miffed at being outmaneuvered and still peeved at himself for not being able to work himself up to have a private conversation with Naruto. Naruto inspected his nails. Oh, just because if you do I'll train you in the art of defeating paperwork. He pulled out his trump card, which he would have used soon to discover his parents' identities soon enough anyway. Now it could be put towards more training. Sarutobi was at his side, bowing down. Please teach me, Naruto-sensei. Very well, my young grasshopper. Shadow clones? Now you can train me after the Chunin exams. Kakashi-senpai, I'll see you Sunday where we can learn a jutsu or two a week. I'll have the ANBU supply store put my weapons on your tab. Now I can have a backup Kakuto. Oh, and don't worry, I forgive you. I will be pranking you non-stop after the Chunin exams, but I forgive you as long as tomorrow I can talk to you privately about it. I have early office guarding, so Johnny. And he shined away before anyone could get a word in. 5 minutes later, Sarutobi smiles gently and then chuckles. He wants to talk tomorrow. And he forgave me. Maybe there is hope for me yet, even if I will have to go through his vindictive side of pranks first. Excuse me, I have paperwork to give to clones. And the god of shinobi follows his surrogate grandson's example, leaving behind a stunned crowd. Does anyone else feel inferior to the 12-year we could all beat into next week with our hands tied behind our back? Gemma manages after a moment. Absolutely, was the unanimous reply. Hikari felt the need to soothe their prides a tiny bit. If it makes you feel any better, we'd have to fight him with only one hand restrained. He graduated from no hands last week. He joked. Somehow that made them feel worse. Naruto's apartment. Naruto lay awake, giddy, but saddened by the night. On one hand, he not only confirmed his parents' identities and set up the basis for any revenge pranks, but he got 8 new jutsu in the making. Being a Jinchuriki had the perk of having enough chakra to perform a variety of jutsu from every element, even those opposite in nature. On the other hand, he had expected a different scenario for his heritage reveal, something more heartfelt. At least he had a meeting tomorrow to talk to the Hokage about it in private. The last few months had been the highlight of Naruto's life. No one looked down on him except some older ANBU from the other squads, but Dragon put that to rest quickly during the first inter-squad training day. Tenzo told him last week how they were ordered to steer Naruto away from the villages, while on the 3-month grace period. Team Ro all looked guilty at that and believed Naruto would hold a grudge over it. He didn't. In fact, Naruto only snuck away to Ikiraku's occasionally now, much to Dragon's ire, who for some reason detested his habit. Otherwise he shopped, ate, and hung out at the upper-level shinobi-only establishments, becoming a part of the older generation of shinobi circle, realizing it was overall better than his life before with civilians and younger shinobi. Many hardly gave him a second glance now after Hikari had paraded Naruto around the hot spots 2 weeks after his enlistment. His life was just beginning to settle before tonight happened. Knock. Knock. Naruto, I know you're up. I'm coming in. Kakashi's muffled voice grows distinct as he works his way to Naruto's bedroom. Entering quietly, the copy ninja takes in the slightly messy room and quarter-filled bookcase. On it were novels on everything from chakra control to a few comics. There was even a lone cookbook for shinobi. I see you took up reading, he asked, a bit surprised. Naruto wasn't exactly the most studious ninja based on his academy records. For his part, Naruto glared, and in the moonlight it was terrifying to see those ice-blue eyes almost glow. I always liked to read, senpai. I just never had enough money to afford more than a couple before the yearly break-in on my birthday would destroy them. My academy grades were falsified. I made A's and B's on every test for the last 2 years, but Mizuki graded for Urika. What went unsaid was him changing the papers out, and Kakashi winced at his own stupidity. It's okay. I know it will take years before people see me as more than a failure, and my prankster reputation didn't help things. Hey, you do have a larger vocabulary now than a few months ago, Kakashi commented. Naruto smiled slightly. Yeah, well, that's Captain Tenzo. He doesn't tolerate members being unrefined in speech, so he assigns vocabulary work. And am I the only one that can viably see Tenzo's personality making him a speech Nazi? I feel the only reason he didn't beat manners and respect into Naruto was for plot continuity on Kishi's part, minus not that Hikari does it. Both chuckle at the abnormal Hyuga and his ability to cause Tenzo headaches. The room then falls to an uncomfortable silence, and Naruto fidgets. Is there something you need, or do you just like breaking into your neighbors' homes in the middle of the night? Kakashi sputtered. And no, I came here to talk. Your father was my sensei, and that's why I started teaching you, though now I do it because you are my favorite student more so than my idiot team. It was true too. Kakashi often grumbled about the said three idiots at dinner. Oh, did they? Did they love me? Naruto looked up with glistening eyes, asking the question he had wanted to ask for years, but could never muster the courage to. The record's discovery made him even more curious. Kakashi scoffed. Love you. They adored you. In fact, when Sensei heard that Kushina was pregnant, he fainted before using Hiroshin to announce it to all his close friends. There was one time. And stories passed by Kakashi's lips like a dam being released. Both shinobi found solace and closure with each word uttered until they found themselves clutching their sides from the great ramen chase that resulted in Minato proposing to Kushina at Ikiraku's. Ha ha. My dad knew how to pick them, and conversation stopped as Kakashi's ANBU tattoo pulsed with Naruto's. Village infiltrated. 8 alive perpetrators attempted assassination of Hokage. Failed, but the survivors on the run. All active squads, Plan Delta. Retired and reserve, report to Hokage Tower. Naruto's blood chilled even as he unsealed his spare uniform and mask. After months of drills and mornings with Guy, he was dressed in 30 seconds. Without a word, Naruto leaps through his window and towards the Inuzuka compound, Kakashi going the opposite direction to meet the reserve captains. Naruto lands in the meeting spot along with 2 other agents and a Barame and Hikaru. Wolf Lemur, he saluted. Without a word, the 3 turned their attention to Tsume Inuzuka, the ANBU's top search and retriever even in her middle age. Naruto was often included in the division simulations because of his clones, and as such Tsume knew his abilities. Listen up. She barked. 8 ninjas wearing scratched headbands of Kiri escaped through the eastern forest after a failed ambush of Hokage-sama on his way home. After a stroll, his guards were knocked unconscious. We managed to kill 10 of them, so these 8 are the stragglers. Everyone to your assigned teams for this. Mouse, 200 clones, 3 for each team, and the rest as pursuers. Naruto complied, and 200 puffs later the ANBU were off with the clones to pursue. Naruto sat down next to Hana, Tsume's daughter, who was on medical leave and had a headset connected to each captain. Meditating, Naruto waited for a clone to dispel with information, which he would then tell Hana to relay to the captains, as the radios couldn't handle it if everyone was talking at once, not to mention they were ridiculously expensive and the tattoos couldn't go as fast, and were used as a mass call mostly. Less than 20 minutes pass before a rush of memories hits Naruto. Hana. 5 clicks northeast, Blue Squad. Clone found the trail headed towards Rice. Hana spoke rapidly into her mic, and the ANBU began making their way towards Blue Squad. Good work, Mouse. Shit, they found 5, but the last 3 are missing. She curses before a kunai embeds into Naruto's shoulder. Hana grabs his collar and yanks him through the air to avoid an explosive note. A ninja with a slashed Kiri headband lands opposite of them holding an unconscious and beaten Sasuke Uchiha. The other 2 at his side step forward, ready for a fight. I think we found the missing 3, Naruto commented dryly. Hana glared. No dip mutt. These 3 smell at least Chunin level 2. Damn, the whole clan and ANBU are out, and my Ninken joined in. Their backup at the tower was on their way, but still 6 minutes out, and the non-tracker ANBU were sweeping other, further away places of interest for sabotage or stragglers. We just have to hold them for 6 minutes. I'm sure we can do it. Here is what I think will work. Captain taught me this strategy during shogi, Naruto whispered. Hana looked unsure as the insane idea based solely on assumptions and hoping was laid out in a matter of seconds. But, she told her rational side of her brain, they either went through with it, or the 2 forming seals in front of her would kill them. As the 2 in front created a mist, Hana saw Aramis with a Naruto clone on the rooftop, who was hinged to look like her. She waits for the opening. They'd have one shot to take them out. A little Anbu wants to play a kukuku. What point should I take? Heart, Larry Nix. So young and brave, too bad you have to die. The taller of the three cackles, and his footsteps echo. 4 Naruto clones holding kunai search around the mist using scent and sound, not that it helped, and 3 are taken out quickly. The real Naruto ducks under a katana, intent on lopping off his head with enough force to cut a wall. In the process, Naruto nicks him with his own kunai in the leg. He smirks and does the one thing Tenzo always griped about: he talks to an opponent in a fight. Hey, you're not so tough. I've had villagers hit harder than you. I recognize you from the bingo book Raiyano, aka the Mist's one-fanged dragon, for your abilities in Kenjutsu. A B class, I believe, but that last attack felt more like a genin swatting a training post on an empty stomach. The newly identified Rai fell for it hook, line, and sinker, roaring in frustration. Naruto easily weaves in and out at the close range, ragged attacks that had a basic pattern. He was less adept than Yugao at the art, and Naruto got in 2 other jabs, this time in the arms as he launched himself above using Rei's sword as a springboard. From what he remembered from the bingo book tournament that ANBU hosted every month, the captain's way of keeping everyone up to date, Rai was quick to anger and not very bright. His only skill was brutal assaults and the hidden miss jutsu, not anything that required a lot of brain power. Rai looked confused as he felt his body going stiff, before not being able to move at all. Bingo, Naruto says before a clone slices his throat from behind. Naruto goes through a few seals, releasing a wind style, great breakthrough. The already weakening mist is blown away completely, allowing Hana her shot. Gotsuga, even without her partners, her drill attack hits the second one easily, as a clone had sliced his hand before being expelled, and he was under the short-term paralysis. The third one looks slightly nervous as he held the Uchiha. Don't come any closer, or I'll slit his throat. I swear I'll do it. Let me go and I'll. His eyes widen and he screams as a katari is slammed through his chest. A murderous-looking Kakashi appears from behind, snatching his student away. Without a glance, he's off to take Sasuke to the hospital. Several of the reserve and active ANBU surround Hana and her kill, while Dragon and Tenzo land in front of Naruto, who was winding down from the adrenaline. Mouse report, Dragon commands, snapping Naruto back to the situation. After we relayed my clone's findings, it became clear that there were 3 missing from the group. When a kunai hit my shoulder, here Naruto winced at the memory. A medic wordlessly healed the wound that was rapidly closing on its own. Hana prevented me from potential injury from an explosive note. The enemy, who were holding Sasuke Uchiha hostage, created a mist and tried that silent killing thing Kakashi-senpai told me about after his wave mission. Anyway, Hana waited on the roof while I got both fighters. The third hung back with kunai soaked in the paralyzing poison. It worked, and I was able to distract Rai from the poison until it took effect and killed him. Hana got hers as well after I blew the mist away, while Kakashi-senpai took out the third member, taking Sasuke to the hospital, I believe. While that worked fine, I remember that strategy being a group effort, not a solo one mouse. If they had an immunity to the paralysis, or were intelligent, then we would have died. I know, Captain. But they were from water. This variation I used is native to fire, and as such I took a gamble, otherwise a full-on battle wouldn't have worked. I would have had to resort to Kenjutsu, some ninjutsu, and shadow clones. One Rai was better at, and the other 2 weak on strategy or easy to dodge. Naruto tilted his head defiantly at his captain. It was the best plan he could think of, as Hana was on injury leave and Naruto wasn't fully equipped or with his team. Tenzo sighed after a moment and Dragon nodded. You did well, Mouse, even if you did rely on a huge gamble. We'll work on strategies at the next team dinner so you won't have to resort to such an iffy plan again, okay? Tenzo left after giving Naruto a final once-over. Dragon chuckles a bit. He cares for you. Was frantic the entire run over here. You are on standard medical leave for 2 days. Be at HQ at 10 am for personal training. I'll work with you until your meeting with the Hokage. And Dragon leaves to find where the mole was, leaving a trembling Naruto behind him. Dragon was a patient man, he liked to believe. But now was not the time to play the board with deliberation and waiting around. 22 shinobi, all defectors from Mist, staged a fake attack on the Hokage and bombed a few other buildings of note, all for the sake of stealing a high-value target, the last loyal Uchiha. Worse, they were headed towards Rice, where Drea's spy network and his men reported a new hidden village, one that coveted missing ninja and bloodlines. Dragon knew he was not seeing something, a final piece, as such a small village wouldn't normally attempt the ire of the strongest of the five. In exasperation he storms to the T&I where one survivor was hanging on to life. Chapter 4. 1 week after the attack. Sasuke Uchiha was many things, a genius, an avenger, an Uchiha. And avenging genius Uchihas don't get captured by 3 missing ninja barely Chunin level, but he had. It was unacceptable. When he woke up in the hospital, Kakashi lazily read his book, and informed him that ANBU had stopped him from being taken. Seething at his vulnerability, the last Uchiha demanded more training, more power than the team exercises and conditioning he had been limited to. Kakashi just smiled, patted him on the head and told him powerful jutsu weren't the answer, that the ANBU who took down the leader just used shadow clones, poison, and a C-rank jutsu. Sasuke scoffed at that and left the hospital to train on his own, spending his week off at the Uchiha training grounds. I need to get stronger to beat him. The brooding teen clenched his fist in his pockets in anger, not noticing his afternoon walk after another stagnant training session was taking him to a section of the village he'd never been in before, the part of town his sensei and every other higher-up ninja lived, bought food, and hung out around. No civilians and most shinobi under Chunin level knew about it. Heck, Sasuke only knew about it because he lived with an ANBU for a month after the massacre. In no way a recently orphaned 7-year-old would live alone right away, not when he no doubt had no way of knowing how to do simple things like cooking, cleaning, ect. His thoughts lost in the past, Sasuke almost missed a certain blonde-haired dead last walking slowly through the streets, a limp in his step and blood splattered on his face. Almost is the key word. He's gotten stronger, I need that power. Heh, I have the Sharingan. I'll fight him and steal that power. A dead last doesn't need it anyway, I bet he got an office job or hospital post. Those losers don't need power like an avenger. Naruto was exhausted, relieved, but exhausted. A simple escort of the daimyo from the capital to Konoha turned almost deadly when a pack of 7 missing ninja, this time with mixed Iwa and Kiri headbands, had attacked the caravan holding the daimyo, well, the decoy anyway. In reality, Team Ro was escorting the daimyo's double while Gamma and 2 other squads took the real daimyo of fire on an alternate route which wove underground at times. They defeated the bastards with only minor injuries by Naruto's standards anyway. Hikari kept insisting Naruto be carried when he sprained his ankle in a roundhouse kick. When they returned to Konoha with the bodies, the higher-ups congratulated them on their work, but everyone in Ro got the impression they weren't happy none were taken alive. It made proving their likely affiliation with the newly discovered Otagakure nigh impossible. That was almost a day ago, and Naruto was off until noon tomorrow. Until then, the exhausted ANBU had plans to secure his apartment, shower and sleep with his newly made sound barrier seals and privacy seals. Months of work would pay off, as Gei's voice was not something one could learn to tune out. That was Naruto's plan before the Uchiha he saved, not that he would ever know, stopped him on the street. Fight me, idiot! Sasuke demanded arrogantly. Naruto looked the brat, for Sasuke Uchiha was very much a brat in Naruto's eyes now, and stared at him with tired eyes. No, he said simply, and attempted to step around the older boy. HN. Scared? You will fight me, Sasuke said, and blocked his path again. Naruto sighed, wishing he had agreed to go get sushi with Hayate and Yugao now, or even the hot springs with Hikaru. He idly wondered if this was karma for slipping away from his comrades. Now, not even karma is this cruel. I just got back from a mission, I'm tired, and have no time for you, leave. His voice was cold, but Naruto didn't care. He had a hopefully still hidden ramen stash waiting for him and warm shower calling. Sasuke grinded his teeth. He didn't used to be this unhinged, but the last time he saw Naruto had showed him how far behind he was falling, if a loser could overtake him. If you won't fight me willingly, I'll make you. Fire style, fire dragon jutsu. He snarled. Naruto's eyes widened slightly at this. Sasuke believed it was because he was impressed or scared, and smirked. No, however, the real reason Naruto's eyes widened was his disbelief at Sasuke's stupidity. He replaces himself with a trash can from a nearby alley. You moron! Fighting between comrades in the village streets is prohibited? Naruto shouted in anger. The Sasuke he knew would never be so stupid, but when Naruto saw his eyes filled with lust for power he groaned. The reports of the Uchiha becoming a flight risk in his search to kill Itachi were not exaggerated. Sasuke prepares another attack when he suddenly slumps down. Anko Dango in hand, glares down at the boy in disgust. Foolish maggot. Naruto, you alright? She asks. Naruto nods. Yes, he was no threat, but thanks. What should we do with him? Naruto asked. Normally a shinobi who pulled such a stunt would spend the night at tea and I to cool off, be interrogated, and then taken to the Hokage for punishment. With the Uchiha though, it was likely nothing would happen. Anko snorted at Naruto's question. He'll get the same treatment as everyone else. The Hokage doesn't care if he is the last of his bloodline. Weren't you the one who told me the old geezer promised that the village comes before any individual? Isn't that what he told you during your talks? Naruto winced a bit at his own unsaid accusations. He had patched things up with the Hokage completely when they had their heart-to-heart and Naruto made him wear orange all day and rubbed his hair sheepishly. Sorry, you're right. I'll leave him to you then. And Naruto takes off before Anko can yell an indignant hey. You should take him, and slips into his apartment through the window. The next morning Guy woke Naruto up at the normal 4 am time, somehow bypassing all of his seals again. Yash. My youthful morning student. Let us bask in our youth and discover what the springtime of youth has in store for us today. We shall spend the morning together before your youthful shift starts. Guy shouted in Naruto's tiny room, his flailing arm almost knocking over the bookcase. Naruto blinked blearily. What did you say? He mumbled through his mask. He never did get a shower as Anko showed up demanding dango after he checked his traps and fed the plant, and thus was still wearing what he had on yesterday, making him seem more like Kakashi than ever. Oh, you're too hip and cool, mini Kakashi. Never fear, I shall show you the way back to youthfulness. Guy swung the still half-asleep Naruto over his shoulder. We shall take an ice-cold swim in the river before running around Konoha on our hands. By the time Naruto fully awoke he was cursing Guy with his very soul as the water bit into his skin. Note to self, research better security seals. With that thought in mind Naruto begrudgingly swam the laps with the green monster, never noticing Dragon observing from a nearby tree. I know what you're thinking, Mouse. But just like with your ramen, your house will never be safe from Guy. Your training with him is too amusing. Though perhaps I should have let you sleep in seeing as your squad did just complete an A- rank escort mission. Nah. Dragon continued muttering to himself as Naruto crawled out onto the bank and was given the leg and chest weights he wore while training with Guy. Grumbling curses, the almost 13-year-old slid them on and started on his 6-hour run with Guy, who alternated between hands and feet. ANBU locker room noon. Multiple ANBU squads were preparing for various missions and shifts when Naruto walked in with a twitching eyebrow and muttering. Eve. Just you wait, Guy and Mini Guy. I will create a barrier you can't break through. And when I do, my mornings off will cease to be interrupted by ramblings of. Here Naruto shuddered. Youth. Tenzo, Yugao and Hikaru winced in sympathy for their young friend. The poor boy was Gay's new pet project that extended beyond training and into attempts to bring back Naruto's youth. It was really not a fate they wished on anyone. Unfortunately for Naruto, the other squads found it hilarious. Ha ha ha. I am so glad you were suckered into that apartment, and not me. Jaguar teased. He had moved in right after Naruto had, avoiding the curse that was Guy. Most of the other ANBU sniggered as the youngest among them muttered like a deluded old man about killing whoever taught Guy about seals. Of course, Roall knew it was Dragon who just disabled them randomly for kicks. They would never tell Naruto, however, for fear of Dragon carrying out his threat of assigning them Konohamaru duty for a month. Shut it. Captain Tiger permission to sanction an assassination mission of whomever sells Guy his jumpsuits and taught him seals? Naruto asked hopefully. Tenzo sighed, familiar with this situation. Permission denied, Mouse. Besides, I think you'll like your mission we're preparing for tomorrow. Or at least, you'll be doing the rest of us a favor, Tenzo said. Naruto cocked his head. What kind of mission? Oh, just running the trap course for the academy today. Tenzo grinned evilly at the pale expression on Naruto's face when Hawk, who usually ran the course, was called in on a mission. Tenzo had swiped it for his squad. Not only would Ro get to observe an unbearably easy watch from the shade of the trees, but Naruto would be able to see his teacher again in off-duty gear too. Is this payback for making the Hokage wear orange? Naruto asked. Why, whatever made you think that? Tenzo asked. By his too innocent expression, however, Naruto knew his captain was a vengeful bastard when he wanted to be. Academy, next day. Alright class, remember to treat whomever is the instructor with respect. They'll teach you basic traps and how to disable them. Urko was stern with the 9-year-olds, especially Konohamaru and his friends. His pride as a teacher was on the line, and if his students misbehaved it would reflect poorly on him. They reached the clearing the new instructor wanted them at quickly, and Urko's jaw dropped. Standing in the middle of a sea of traps was his unreachable student, Naruto. The boy wore standard black pants and long black shirt, and the face mask he sported resembled a certain cyclops. What really got Urko though was when Naruto turned to face them and plopped down, holding up 10 flags. I don't believe in babying students and find learning by doing is better than anything my traps teacher threw me in the deep end, so I will do the same. I am your target, I have 10 flags on me, 1 for every 3 students. Your job is to team up into 3-man cells and make your way through the field to me, setting off as little traps as possible. You will be graded on how quickly and efficiently you get through. The winning squad will be treated to dinner by me at Ikirakis. That got the kids' attention. Urko's jaw dropped though at the cool tone of Naruto and the difficulty of the trap set. Go, Naruto said after a moment, and 30 students split off, preparing for their trial. Urko used a Shunshin and Kawarumi to make it into Naruto's circle and sat next to his old student. Urko-sensei. Naruto greeted happily. I didn't know you were teaching this class. Naruto sounded happy, and he was, but he was also nervous. Urko was known for being able to make Naruto talk about everything, not something Naruto wanted at this time when his ANBU status wasn't spread around. Hello, Naruto. I haven't seen you in almost 5 months. Where have you been? Urko asked crossly. The Chunin was both ecstatic and pissed at his former student. Had special assignment, and all that pretty boring most of the time. I was asked to take over for the ANBU today, so that's why this course isn't as detailed as I like, Naruto apologized sheepishly. Urko gaped at him, flabbergasted that this monster of a test wasn't the final product and forgetting about Naruto's situation in the moment, just like Naruto hoped for. What do you mean, as detailed as you'd like? This is high genin level, not meant for academy students. You can't expect 9-year-olds to succeed. Urko ranted on to Naruto, who began tuning him out. Finally the Chunin ran out of breath. You done? Good. Listen, teamwork is more important than flashy jutsu or fancy taijutsu move. If I made it easy they wouldn't realize this. The way my course is set up, they will have to work together to get a flag, while also figuring out how the most common and deadly traps work, even if these versions only shoot out paint. Naruto gave a cold stare, daring Urko to argue. He'd seen the genin squads and their high mortality rate on missions when their teamwork and basic knowledge was lacking versus the ANBU squads whose teamwork saved both the ninja and the missions constantly. If being harsh now prevented even one genin death, Naruto viewed this as a mission complete. Urkel looked at Naruto in pride. The boy he knew would have boasted about doing everything alone, and screamed a battle cry, not lecture on the importance of working together and pushing oneself. It made him wonder what assignment Naruto had. A few squads had overheard Naruto and strove to work better together. With new determination, the students strove to win, not just for food, but also to make their temporary sensei proud. Up in the trees, Hikaru and Yugao played Go Fish. Yo, think Chibi Koha is really an old war vet in disguise. I mean, he sounds 30, not 12. Hikaru grumbled as he lost to Yugao, who had their captain giving hand signs behind Hikaru, feeling like his favorite squad mate was being dull. No, idiot mouse is just growing up, something you could learn from. Yugao admonished. She was proud of Naruto for his maturity as of late. She was no longer worried of having two Hikarus on row. What's so bad about being childish sometimes? We accepted this mission so Mouse can hang out with his old teacher, not lecture. Tenzo sighed as the recent bickering topic started up. Stop it, both of you. Tenzo ordered. His brain couldn't handle another argument over Naruto's personality. Wolf Mouse is on a mission, an easy one sure, but still a mission, and as such is in the mission mode we taught him. At this Yugao looks smug. And Cat. Lighten up a bit. You are playing a card game on a mission right now, so any jibes on Wolf's maturity are moot at this point. Now it's Hikaru's turn to throw his shoulders back in victory. Tenzo palms his mask in exasperation as the two clearly didn't get it. Hey, what's up? Naruto's voice breaks Tenzo from his stupor. Naruto smirked. The kids are done, I'm just a clone. Boss is taking the winners to Ichirakus. Tenzo nodded. That's fine, Mouse. After you're done, get some rest, we have sewer patrol tonight. Everyone grimaced. Ever since their first time, Dragon took it upon himself to let Ro handle most of the sewer patrol as it became easier with Naruto's clones. Darn that Dragon, sadistic bastard. See you in a few hours, and he poofed away. That night. This sucks, Hikaru said as they made their way through the tunnels, not bothering to follow the silent, unless necessary rule. Silently, Naruto agreed. He had 20 clones do a preliminary sweep, but they still had to double-check everything. Shut it, at least we only have the west sector. We should be done within 6 hours. Yugao was in a foul mood. Her date with Hayate would have to be postponed as the sewer smell took hours to get out. It's not so bad. There isn't any. Naruto trailed off, then cursed. Crap, there's 6 hostiles setting up explosives. They take off soundlessly, Naruto in the lead. No more complaints or bickers filled their thoughts. With danger up ahead, they became the elite ANBU of Konoha. They reached the section of the tunnels the clone dispersed. Suppressing their chakra, Ro looked from the shadows. 6. Wearing scratched Kumo headbands. Tenzo signed. Recognized the one in the back, Kumo B rank. Kakashi the tank. Went rogue 3 months ago. Naruto signed back. He was well versed in the bingo books now, as he was determined to win the vacation passes for his squad at the next bingo book tournament. Understood. Mouse, throw 5 of your new smoke tags on my signal. Cat, Wolf, kill the 4 in front. Mouse, capture the 5th, working on the bomb tags. When finished, assist me with Kakashi. Tenzo ordered. With nods, Naruto threw down the tags. What made these smoke tags so special was Naruto's little twist. Instead of storing actual smoke in the seal, he stored chakra smoke from his clones, making it similar to the hidden mist jutsu. After facing Rai, Naruto had asked Kakashi for the jutsu. After trying it, it became clear that even with it being technically a D-rank jutsu, for Naruto to use it he'd have to develop a water affinity to perform it with any degree of effectiveness, which Kakashi wouldn't teach him before his wind manipulation was complete, still weeks away even with clones. To make up for the lack, Naruto altered the standard smoke tag a bit. After accidentally sealing an annoying clone into the matrix, Naruto set it off in frustration, only to grin maniacally when his apartment was filled with a thin smoke. Now, each tag held 20 clones worth of chakra smoke, which lingered longer and blocked sensors and smell, not just sight. Once the tags released a mountain of smoke, Hikaru and Yugao took off, making the four in front fell, all of whom were genin level. Naruto went over near his target, who was frantically attempting to finish his seal, but kept making mistakes. Dropping down behind, Naruto took a deep breath and tried out his new jutsu from Kakashi. Earth-style, Headhunter Jutsu. He whispered, screams of the enemy covering the noise, and sank into the ground. It wasn't perfect, but Naruto couldn't use destructive jutsu in close quarters or risk the man a short balding chunin with a sloppily slashed headband. Under the ground, Naruto's hands shoot out and grab the ankles. Pulling down with all his might, the man lets out a startled yelp as he finds himself neck deep in earth. Naruto reappears behind him and knocks him out with the hilt of his new Kakuto. Opening the prisoner stasis scroll, Naruto quickly seals the unconscious man in, silently grumbling that his last scroll was used. Prisoner stasis scrolls were expensive and it took a level 4 to make. Die, Konoha scum. A voice Naruto could only assume was Takeshi rang out. Naruto turns to see his captain and teammates having little trouble with the hulk of the man. Takeshi was powerful with his earth release, but Yugao had cut off one of his hands, making most jutsu impossible. Earth-style mud wave. Or not. Jumping up to the ceiling, Team Row avoids the floor becoming a disgusting river of sewage and dirt. Yugao and Tenzo give a familiar hand sign, and Naruto grins behind his mask. He loved this combo, even if it was insanely difficult. Naruto made 3 clones who shined in a triangle formation around Takeshi. The man draws a kunai and slices toward one. At that moment, Yugao switched with the clone and blocks the strike. While he's distracted with holding off her sword, Tenzo switched with the one of the left and stabbed the man with a wooden spike from his arm. Naruto then finished it behind them, his Kakuto laced in wind chakra to decapitate the man. The mud hardened, no longer fed by chakra, and Squad Row lands around the body. Good work, Tenzo praised, slightly winded. He had engaged in a taijutsu match with the target, as at first neither wanted to damage the area, though for different reasons. HQ has already sent backup to disable any other threats. Mouse, are you able to dismantle this areas? Naruto studied the matrix on the wall carefully. It was obviously made to be let off domino style, and so he'd have to go dismantle them one at a time. It would take hours. I can, Captain. It will take hours, but I can do it. Tenzo nodded. Good. Then we don't have to wait for anyone to come. Take care of this section, we'll guard you. With a sigh, Naruto started on the first tag, slowly unraveling the seal. It ended up taking half a day before Naruto finished the last glued-on tag, only because 3 other sections had a domino-style chain as well. Finally done, Naruto rolled his shoulders and turned to his captain. Finished. Please tell me we are off duty now, he begged. Tenzo shook his head. Sorry, but all Jonin and ANBU are to report to the war room for a debriefing. The one you caught cracked. Naruto perked up a bit at that. Finally they had information. 10 minutes later, Row found their place on the ceiling, the room too full for the late arrivals. No one talked much, even Guy kneeling next to Kakashi in the front row, barely whispered. We can now begin, the Hokage breathed, and the already grim room went deathly quiet. Last night ANBU discovered another group of missing nin, this time all from Kumo, setting up a chain of bombs in the underground sewers on a routine sweep. They killed 5 of the perpetrators, one of whom was a B rank in our bingo books, and captured 1. Ibiki and Inoichi uncovered their motive and origin. Most stiffened at what he said next. They were working for Odagakure, the budding village in Rice we've been searching for. It appears they were promised entrance to the village if they managed to collapse the western sector, and then capture an unsealed Byakugan or Sharingan user. Outrage from the Jonin filled the room. We should destroy them. How dare this startup try and take Konoha? Silence. Sarutobi ordered. We cannot prove anything yet, and we don't know who this new village has sided with. Furthermore, they have sent an official request to participate in the Chunin exams taking place in 3 months. I accept it. Hokage-sama is that wise? Ebisu spoke. Naruto observed the stuck-up jonin, familiar with him from a trivia night. The man was a walking textbook, but never thought outside the box. Case in point, he didn't see the reasoning of the Hokage's position. Yes, Ebisu, it is. This way we have them in a position that when for there is clearly no if minus they try something, we will be under full rights to crush them under the great tree of Konoha. Furthermore, I have already decided that teams 7 and 8 will be required to be in the exams. Kakashi nodded at his leader, but Kurena was indignant. Hokage-sama. You plan to use Hinata as bait? She's not ready. Kurena argued. In truth, before today, she would have loved to have Hinata in the exams to toughen her up, but not now. She is a kunoichi, as are you, my word is final. Besides, both she and Sasuke will have an ANBU to guard them the entirety of the exams, regardless if they make the finals. Whispers went around, as having ANBU guarding a particular person bordered on messing with the exam. Kakashi spoke up. Who will be watching our genin, Hokage-sama? Squads Falcon and Beta will be watching over Hinata Hyuga, while Team Ro and Gamma under the guise of normal exam patrols will be with Sasuke Uchiha. Said Squads Gamma and Ro all cursed in their minds. None of them liked the Uchiha after hearing of his attempted assault, and being told to guard him for over a month was not their idea of fun. Kakashi seemed to sense their displeasure and sent an eye smile up towards the ceiling. If I may, would it be possible to commission an ANBU to help train each genin squad? It would help prepare them for the trials ahead. Naruto's stomach started dropping, hoping his senpai wasn't doing what he thought he was doing. Very well then, anyone in particular you'd like to request from the guard detail? Oh, I think Mouse would be wonderful. Kakashi I smiled as Hikari held Naruto's shoulder to prevent him from attacking the Cyclops, and Wolf as well. Now it was Yugao holding Hikaru back, and Naruto tossed a wind-charged kunai right at Kakashi's head, who caught it easily. Everyone not in the know yet about Sasuke's sweat dropped at the violent reaction. Mouse. If you and Wolf work with my genin every Tuesday and Thursday, I'll show you the first step to water manipulation. Naruto stopped reaching for another kunai. And? He questioned. Sarutobi could have ordered him to do it for free, but found the situation amusing that, and it made Kakashi spend more time away from the memorial stone. Hikari, meanwhile, looked betrayed at his koha, who was selling them out. I'll buy you a ramen buffet. Kakashi managed, mentally crying for his wallet. Naruto hummed. Good, but not good enough after he attacked me and no doubt will try to use his Sharingan on me every chance he gets. You know what I want. No, anything but that. Nope. Besides, cats are better. I should disown you for that. You never adopted me. Accept, and let me pick it out or I'll spend the 3 months showing them my sexy jutsu. Fine. We'll go pick you out a cat after this. Kakashi growled out. His little mini-me project was failing. Most chuckled at how the 12-year-old just got Konoha's resident cat hater to spend a fortune on a cat. Excellent. Pleasure doing business with you. Naruto cheered. Hikaru was still gaping. Moving on, we will discuss the increased patrol and preparations. I fear we may have to fend off a coordinated attack soon. Shikaku, your analysis. 7 hours later, the Hokage dismissed them and Naruto, despite his lack of sleep, was waiting for Kakashi. The height-challenged ANBU locked onto Kakashi, pinning the man with clones. Oh senpai, you weren't going to leave without me, right? Heave. I would never. Let's go find you a pet dog. Cat. Dog. Cat. Please, anything but cats. Nope, I like cats. Tora and I are best of friends. Everyone, even Sarutobi and Danzo, paled a bit at the thought of the Jinchuriki and Tora getting along. At least look at the other animals, Kakashi begged, pulling out his orange book. Naruto had crawled up to his shoulders and pulled out a book on training cats. Fine. Kakashi did a mental victory sign. But I'll still choose a cat. Dog. Cat. Dog. Cat. The two made their way out of the war room, neither caring for the scene they caused. Chapter 5. 3 days later, Training Field 7. Naruto walked slowly to the training grounds that would be his hell hole for the next 3 months. As ordered by the Hokage, he was wearing his off-duty clothes, and the new official story was that he held an aide position with the Hokage's office. His new companion slept on top of his head, and he smiled up at the sight. Angel was a black hellcat, a species of felines that specialized in changing their size and using fire jutsu to an extent. They could also use a type of demonic genjutsu, but as he bought her at the kitten stage, it would be a while before any of these abilities became usable. Until then, Naruto had to teach his new companion to speak and fight, or Pakun did, at least when Naruto bribed him with pork ears today. When Angel was trained, she would add to Team Row, and Tenzo was busily creating some attack formations that included the Black Cat. Now, though, she was just a ball of sleeping fuzz. AW, Chibi, Konoha and Angel, have you gotten her to speak yet? Hikari dropped down from a tree to walk alongside his teammate, also in normal shinobi wear. The 15-year-old had forgiven Naruto for selling him out when Naruto promised the Hyuga the chance to spar with the Uchiha, some sort of rivalry between the two clans. Apparently Hikari had fought against many different Uchiha before they were massacred, and wanted another bout even if Sasuke was hardly worthy. After all, Hikari graduated at 8, became a Chunin at 10 through field promotion, and then a special Jonin at 13 where he joined ANBU, and there is no way Konoha only has like 5 early graduates. I would say there'd have to be more. But like any village, they use a couple as poster children and the rest just get on with their lives. She can say Naruto half the time and no without fail. Nothing else yet, Naruto grumbled. The cat was sweet, but could drive him insane with the random no. While they worked, or he read. Hikari grinned. Ha. She sounds like a 2-year-old. Then his face turned sullen. Captain gave me another medical jutsu to learn, and I'm supposed to instruct the Haruo over medical ninjutsu. It was a known fact amongst ANBU that while Hikaru was surprisingly adept at the medic arts, his flamboyant personality and wish to be in battle made him shirk off his studies. Unfortunately for him, he lived next to the captain, who did weekly tests. Having the threat of Tenzo with his ghoul face standing over you made Hikaru begrudgingly improve. Which one? Naruto asked sympathetically, Angel yawning on his head. The one that closes cut arteries. After I've learned this one, I'll be ready for the intermediate series. That's great, Hikaru. Before you know it, you'll be the next Tizanate. HMPH? I'd rather just keep spamming jutsu and gentle fists, he pouted, being melodramatic. He was only learning for the field, and in case Konoha was attacked. So, when are you starting training with it? Hikaru asked after some silence. Intelligence from spies showed Suna intended to send their unstable Jinchuriki to the exams without informing Konoha. Sending any Jinchuriki to an exam was considered impolite, and by not informing them it could be considered an act of war. To prepare, Naruto was beginning his Jinchuriki training, and Drea would be called back within a few weeks to continue his sealing and some jutsu that his father left him. Tomorrow. The plan is Wednesday, and Friday Kapatane will take me to the place my mother trained at with it. The Hokage and Shinobi Council issued orders for me to be able to use a two-tailed version 1 cloak by the exam. They also agreed for Hokage-sama to help with my water manipulation and teach me a few water-based jutsu to deal with the Ichibi. Naruto was miffed at the first part. Tenzo had argued the council, saying Naruto wasn't ready yet and that Drea and he could take care of the Jinchuriki. They refused, however, stating that even if it wasn't needed yet, as Konoha's Jinchuriki, he had a responsibility to master as much of the beast's chakra as he could. The last part, though, Naruto didn't mind. Learning from the Hokage every Sunday was an honor. At least you have the Hokage training you to make up for our babysitting job. Though, Captain did say we'd be taking some combat missions in our spare time. Naruto smiled at that. Combat missions were typically mid-B to lower rank. Obviously it was to give them experience, but it would be a welcome break over the months. Oh, Sasuke-kun. You're so cool, Sakura's screech could be heard up ahead. Naruto and Hikaru winced in sympathy for Kakashi, as they say him sigh in resignation. The third teammate Sai was drilling sword drills far away from the others. The Anbu ignored him, well aware that he was just a plant and already above Chunin level. Hey, senpai. How's the chibi genin? Hikari greeted with a wave. Kakashi turned with a happy look, but gave a scowl to Angel. Kakashi hated the cat that cost him an S-rank pay while Angel adored the man for some odd reason. Meow. She said as she jumped off Naruto and towards the white-haired Jonin. With a bit too much enthusiasm, Kakashi batted her away with his book. Hello there, Hikari. Naruto. Hikari, you'll be working with Sakura mostly if I'm correct. Naruto, you'll be in charge of Sasuke mostly, though if you could have 20 clones follow my clone, I'll show you the start of water manipulation. Naruto did so and the real Kakashi looked back at the group. Alright, I have to take on a mission for the next several days. On Tuesdays and Thursdays Naruto will be joining you in training for the Chunin exams, mainly as a sparring partner and to drill the basics. On Wednesdays Hikaru will be your stand-in sensei for missions. Make me proud, these next few months I will have to take my own missions without you three. See you Friday. Oh, and Naruto, water my plants while I'm gone. Kakashi. I smiled and left in a puff, Hikaru's mouth gaping. That bastard. Slugging his kids off to me, I'll show him the next time we have poker night. Crap, I forgot to ask him to summon Pakon. Naruto pawned his face. Now he'd have to make Angel just work with a clone on vocabulary, something he still had trouble doing. Bending down to the dazed cat he smiled. Go with a clone, and it will teach you some. Hopefully when Kakashi-senpai returns Pakon can help. Angel nodded slowly and left with a Naruto. She could understand him perfectly, but words were difficult. HN. Dope Hyuga, fight me. Sasuke demanded. Hikaru and Naruto, though without as much venom as before. Having to clean the guard tower bathrooms humbled him a bit it seemed. Sakura frowned a bit at her crush. She heard what he tried to do and when she talked to her mother about it, the older Haruo scolded her again for being so infatuated with the Uchiha. Sakura still felt a bit of butterflies for the boy, but his disrespect for their sensei and whatever Naruto was supposed to be shocked her. She didn't like the blonde, but assaulting him in the street and calling a stronger opponent dope was just wrong. Makes you wonder why you liked him, huh? Hikaru's not-so-joking voice spoke from behind her. Sakura blushed and turned. I don't know what you mean, I love Sasuke-kun. She said instantly, old phrases said on instinct. Hikaru rolled his eyes. Please, you're 12, almost 13. Give it a couple of years before you love anyone. And besides, the Uchiha is arrogant and cruel. I've read the mission reports he almost caused a treaty to break on the diplomatic mission when he insulted the ambassador. And on your last bandit raid, the boy broke their arms for no reason before killing them. Would you really want to be around that? Sakura bit her lip at that. It was true, Sasuke had become more and more angry and unhinged since Naruto beat them that day so badly. Just think about it. Until then, let's get you started on becoming a field medic. With a smile Hikaru led the girl away from the Uchiha. He sent a mental apology to his teammate who looked ready to pummel the brat. No, Naruto said hours later after making Sasuke learn water walking. His plan was to force the basics like his teammates did, improving mainly the genin's control, taijutsu, and traps. Naruto knew the second stage was in the Forest of Death, and as such intended to make his student able to survive there. However, if he had to keep telling Sasuke no to fights then the Uchiha wouldn't make it to the exam. Arg. All I've done today is water walking. I need to get stronger to beat him. Spar with me. Sasuke was exhausted, but wanted more. His Sharingan would make it easy to copy Naruto's jutsu and moves. However, Naruto just sighed. Sasuke, you've learned a lot today. By Thursday I have no doubt you'll have mastered water walking. Your obsession with killing your brother, I get it. I really do. Sasuke moved to protest, but Naruto cut him off. I found out my parents were killed the day I was born, that a man caused their deaths. One day, I will find him and take his life. He had found out that a suspected Sharingan user pulled the QB out and Naruto would make him pay. However, obsessing about it now won't do anything. Look at it this way. Itachi killed the Uchiha, and they all had friends, lovers, and teammates outside the Uchiha walls. Wait until you're able to beat Kakashi. When that day comes, call on me, and I and others would gladly help you track the traitor down. Psst, I have to do this alone. Why? Because it was your family? Don't be stupid, with teammates you can take on any opponent. And, I'm sure you'd be allowed the killing blow. Naruto watched Sasuke's face carefully. He seemed to go through a range of emotions before settling down. Fine. I'll try it your way, but I'm still behind. How did you get so strong? Sasuke wasn't so much angry at this point, but desperate. Naruto was clearly a Chunin level he could see, while Sasuke looked weak now. Sigh, lots of shadow clones, which you can't make. Yet, he added. I'll compromise if you work hard on what I want you to. I'll teach you some of my special traps. Sasuke looked dubious. I prefer ninjutsu. Naruto smirked at this. So do I, but one of my traps took down a B-rank shinobi, he said, leaving out the part that it incapacitated the guy and Hikaru finished him. No need to tell the whole truth. Sasuke looked a bit more intrigued. Yes, traps can take down anyone, if done right. Plus, I'll show you the Shunshin Thursday. He dangled the carrot, and Sasuke fell for it. Deal. But if I don't think your idea of this teamwork is helping, I'll kill him by myself. Sasuke didn't say it out loud, but he realized playing along until Naruto fell by his hand was better than arguing. He'd learn this shadow clone one day, and easily beat the former dope before moving on to his brother. Naruto just nodded at Sasuke's sort of agreement. No way he'd let that happen, but decided to let the guy sound superior. Here's a book over the basics of trapping. Angel, time to go. Naruto called, and without another word boy and cat walked away, leaving a thoughtful Uchiha looking through the book titled Genin Level Traps, Book 1 of 3. Not knowing Naruto was already through the whole series that went through Jonin, Sasuke pored over it, secretly imagining Itachi dying from a kunai or wire. Private training grounds. Naruto used Shunshin to reach the waterfall, where 20 clones cut the water. Pleased it wouldn't be long before he could do it himself, he turned to his partner, while unsealing his training weights. Hello. Naruto, Angel said slowly, working the human words in her mouth. Naruto grinned. Hey, Angel. Since we're partners, we have to work together in fights. For now we'll do conditioning and an obstacle course together. With a grin the two set off into the late afternoon, Naruto wincing as the new training vest put an extra 5 pounds on him. He was instructed to not use chakra while in weights to get him better conditioned faster. Made sense, but that didn't mean Naruto had to like feeling weighed down. At 8 p.m. Naruto dragged himself inside his apartment, Angel hanging over his shoulder. Stupid cat making me carry her. He muttered. Turning his doorknob, he slumps inside the doorway, only to become on guard instantly with his Kakato in hand. He felt a presence in his apartment, and they were masking it well. Inching along the wall, he pumped chakra into a seal, releasing his chakra smoke tags. Or, he would have if the commander hadn't thrown him to the ground. Almost acceptable. But next time be on your guard before you enter. Dragon said dryly as he pushed his sandal on Naruto's head. Yes, Dragon-sama. What are you here for? Naruto asked through the carpet. I doubt it's just to stalk me, though you do it a lot. Correct, I am here on business. Make me tea, he ordered. Naruto grumbled, but complied, and soon 2 cups were on the table. Dragon drank slowly, his mask under a genjutsu to allow him to move it slightly to drink. I understand you are to begin on learning your Jinchuriki powers tomorrow. It wasn't a question, even if it sounded like one. In that case, I came to warn you to be careful. Normally we would wait until you reached 14, but with the threat of conflict, Konoha has no choice. Even so, I won't have you become reliant on your Bajoa. As such, while you are in mask, you may not use any demonic chakra unless in a life or death situation, and even then I would rather you come up with something else. Naruto understood what he was saying and gave his agreement. Furthermore, I will be training you and the cat on genjutsu. Before I made commander, my genjutsu was renowned. Dragon sounded almost mournful, but quickly hid it. Here is a scroll over genjutsu and another over hell cats and their abilities. He placed both on the table. Wait, I thought angel species used to ally with the Uchiha. How did you get one of their scrolls on them? Dragon chuckled. I have my ways. I expect you to have both Reed and the kitten to access her chakra by next week. And without a sound, Dragon was gone. After a moment, Naruto cleaned up before laying in bed, opening his first scroll. Genjutsu Theory for Dummies Chapter 1. He muttered. Next day, Naruto was ready. Guy would be in for a nasty surprise when he broke in. Before he fell asleep, the young ANBU had set up his nastiest traps in preparation. Hearing the front door open, Naruto hides a mischievous grin. Yash. Good morning, Naruto. My most youthful neighbor. Let us start our youthful morning exercises. And to Naruto's horror, the green man had somehow gotten out of all his preventative measures. With a resigned groan, the ANBU changes in seconds and straps his weights on, dragging a hissing angel along. Outside his window, Dragon smirked. Naruto's traps were beginning to be a challenge, but it wouldn't save him from morning sessions with Guy. Not when Dragon needed every ANBU the best they could be. This isn't working, Naruto whined. He had been attempting to meditate for hours to no avail. He couldn't access the fox's chakra. Just keep trying. Tenzo sighed in frustration as well. He hadn't thought getting Naruto a meeting with his tenant would be so difficult. This was the 6th lesson, and they had tried sparring, using all of his chakra, and now meditation, nothing worked. Tenzo didn't whether to be proud or angry that the boy had such a lock on his emotions that taunts and slurs did nothing to draw the Kyuubi chakra out. Yo. Chibi Koha. What's up? Hikari greeted as he jumped down to the valley they were practicing in. We have dinner tonight to go over Kakashi's team's progress, remember? Go away, Hikaru-senpai, I have to access the fox's chakra. Naruto bit out between deep breaths, eyes closed in concentration. Hikaru knew his friend had yet to draw on any power, and that it was driving the boy mad. A light bulb went off, and he signaled Tenzo to get ready. Oh really? But you're so tiny. What's a chibi like you doing trying to use a power you can't understand? A tick mark grew on Naruto's forehead. Only Hikaru and Anko could make him lose his cool. One final button mixed with his own anger at his failure would do it. With a grin, Hikari swiped Naruto's headband off his forehead. It was one of his most precious possessions, as it belonged to his favorite teacher. I'll just keep this till you grow a few feet, he taunted. Naruto let out a fierce growl, and red chakra started leaking red chakra, his claws growing longer. Now, Captain. Wood sprouts from the ground, and absorbs the chakra, sending Naruto to oblivion. I can't believe that worked, I said, and did things 10 times worse. Tenzo said in awe. Hikari smirked in reply. But he views you as a superior and knows you don't mean it. I mock and tease him enough that I know which of his buttons to push and when. Now what? Now, we wait. He's exhausted of chakra and he drew on its power, so Naruto should be able to meet with the fox and ask for power. Inside Naruto's mindscape, Naruto found himself in a sewer, a huge cage in front of him. Great. This is what my mind's like. That sucks, Naruto mumbled. He read in a book over meditation that the mindscape reflected the mental state built from childhood. Needless to say, Naruto's didn't look too cheery. My jailer is here to bug me. What do you want, mortal? A growl came out from the bars. A pair of red eyes and mouth of teeth push against the bars. Remembering why he was there, Naruto sat up and bowed. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, your current jailer. I'm here to strike a deal for both our benefit. What is your name? Kurama barely kept his eyes from bugging. He hadn't had a human bow to him in centuries, much less speak in a civil manner, or ask his name. Kurama had looked through the memories of his container's life, and was impressed with the human's resolve. It made the old fox almost hopeful. He would give the human a chance, not that the boy had to know. And if he just happened to be the one father was talking about, well, then Kurama would be smug to his siblings that he was the one to guide him. Insolent brat. Don't presume I need anything from you. But I will listen to your proposition. And it's Kurama, he added as an afterthought. Later, Naruto sat up slowly, his teammates looking at him with worry, Dragon nearby as well. We met, he said with a straight face. And Hikaru shakes his shoulders. Naruto gives a hidden smirk, his face mask making him unreadable. Kurama said I can use his chakra as long as I ask beforehand. In exchange he gets a mental connection, and something about watching me for signs of being another stupid Nigen before he makes a final decision, whatever that means. Naruto shrugged. Looks of relief spread across Tenzo and Hikaru. Even Dragon appeared relaxed. Kurama? Tenzo asked. Oh, the QB. He isn't mindless, everyone has a name, Naruto said simply, wondering why everyone was making such a big deal out of it. In the seal, Kurama snickered as he looked through Naruto's eyes at the expressions. Angel popped out of the commander's cloak. Naruto. I learned how to use fire, the cat cheered with the increasing vocabulary and demonstrated with 6 golf ball-sized flames flying at him. After dodging, he clapped his hands. Good job, Angel. The cat had taken to Dragon almost as well as Kakashi, and unlike the Cyclops, the commander would teach the feline, not bat it away. Tiger, your squad has guard duty of the Hokage Tower tomorrow. Mouse, how has the genjutsu I gave you to learn working? Dragon asked. Naruto chuckled nervously. After reading the basic scroll, Dragon had shown him a C-rank genjutsu, forced hypnosis, a basic technique letting the user put the victim in a trance, and offer subtle ideas or have them follow orders for a short time. It was useful for making prisoners or clients more compliant, though until mastered the illusion could be broken by any genin. Once fully learned, most shunin would succumb, meaning it was extremely useful. It doesn't last on the clones for more than a few seconds. My control isn't the best though. Now that Kurama and I are working together, it should improve. Hikari hummed. I'll teach you waterfall walking. It's advanced enough that your control will end up improving to the point of making the genjutsu work. He offered. Do that, Wolf. Mouse, have this mastered by next week, or I'll tell Guy to give you extra weight. Dragon said cheerfully before leaving. Naruto paled, then looked at his senpai. Save me. Don't let Guy get to me, I'm already wearing 15 pounds on my legs and 20 on my torso. PSH, that's weak, Chibi Koha, Hikaru mocked. That is pathetic. Grow some muscle. Kurama mocked along, already liking the Hyuga. Naruto sputtered a bit. Fine. Be that way, I'll just tell Guy you'd like to join us. His eyes turned devious, and it was Hikaru's time to pale. I think Hayashi-sama needs me at the clan compound for a few days. Johnny. And he leaves as well. Tenzo looks down. From now on we'll work on you using the foxes minus Kurama's. He backtracks at Naruto's glare. Angel joins in for effect. Chakra without you losing control. By the exams the elders want you to use 2 tails worth, but personally, I don't think you can do 2 tails. I think you can control 4. With a proud smile Tenzo helps his subordinate up. How about some sushi, my treat? Sushi. Was the dual cheer of Naruto and Angel. Saratobi's office next day. As reward for his accomplishment, Naruto was given the most sought-after spot in the office, the left rafter above the desk. In this coveted position one had the breeze from the windows and none of the tobacco smell. Furthermore it had a nice ledge big enough to sit on. Yes, it was bliss. Sure, it also was the spot of the messenger. But rarely did that happen, and Angel had a spot nearby under the desk. It was decided that the cat was to run inter-village missions with them, as she proved to be adept at fighting and stealth. Until a certain Toad Sage came in through the window. "Hello, Sensei. Mind telling me why you recalled me 3 months early?" Drea was a diligent shinobi that loved his village, but he enjoyed his time on the road, damn it. "Ah, Drea. I am glad you came quickly. You're aware of the intelligence reports over this Odagakure." Sarutobi blew on his pipe. Naruto listened. In office duty was monotonous, but let you in on all the juicy parts of the village running. Not that the ANBU would ever discuss what was said. Only on highly secretive mission reports would the ANBU be sent out. Each agent was trusted fully by the Hokage, meaning none of them would dream of selling out secrets or spreading rumors. Of course, I still can't get a confirmation on who leads it. Suna has been spotted holding talks with them. Not good, as they are bringing their Jinchuriki to the exams without telling us. Only our increased vigilance due to the past several months allowed us to confirm it. Naruto sucked on his teeth at that. It was bad news if Suna went against them. "So you want me here as a deterrent?" Drea asked. If so, perhaps he could help Naruto and his Genin squad. He heard he'd graduated this term, but couldn't ask for more updates with his schedule. Yes, and to train Naruto in Fuinjutsu and Jutsu. Drea perked up at that. "And the Kyubi chakra, I presume?" "Tenzo is in charge of that, but I am sure he wouldn't mind some help. Isn't that right, Tiger?" Tenzo appears in a kneel in front of the desk. "Not at all, Hokage-sama. I'm sure Naruto would appreciate the chance to know his godfather." Naruto had been told about Drea by the Hokage during their chat. Drea tensed. "Don't worry, Drea, Naruto knows everything. And he forgave me, though I would watch for pranks," Sarutobi said, somewhat amused now that it wasn't him in the doghouse. He greatly enjoyed his weekly lessons with his surrogate grandson. "Oh, the Gaki has his mother's personality then? Maybe I should pass on the way of the—" "I wouldn't finish that if I were you," Sarutobi warned. Yugao had turned her corner into a frigid wasteland. She wouldn't have anyone, even a Sannin, corrupt her konoha. "I take it the ANBU are fond of him. I'm glad he was taken care of. Can't wait to meet him and his Genin team. Anyway, here's a coded message I managed to snag from a runner on their way to Suna. They have an exact copy." "Excellent, I'll have cryptology take a look at it." "Mouse," he said absently. Naruto appeared at the Hokage's side and took the scroll with a bow. "Please give this to Shiro." "Right away, Hokage-sama," Naruto said evenly. He refused to look at his godfather. However, the pervert looked at him. "Hold on a second. Mouse, was it? How old are you?" Drea saw the blonde hair and short stature. "No, it couldn't be." Naruto looked towards his captain, who shook his head no. Without a word, Naruto left through the ceiling's passageway towards cryptology. Drea fixed a hard stare on Sarutobi. "Sensei, who was that?" "Now Drea, you know most ANBU never reveal their identities." Sarutobi chided. He was having fun toying with his student. This will teach him to delay the release of Ika Ika. "Cut the crap, was that Naruto? Because it sure looked like him with the hair and height." "Yes, that's him," the Hokage said after a pregnant pause. The office was filled with killing intent. "You put my godson, who I was told was behind his peers in ANBU. Are you insane?" "Sigh. Sit down and shut up. It's time you hear about the real Naruto." And over the next 30 minutes Drea heard everything. The troubled and lonely early life, his sabotaged schooling, and his life in ANBU. Naruto appears with a scroll from cryptology concerning another case in his hand. "Naruto, take off your mask. It's time to meet your godfather," the Hokage ordered. With a sigh, Naruto slid his mask off and onto his belt. "It is nice to meet you, Jiraiya-sama," he said tonelessly. Jiraiya gave a weak smile, still reeling about what he heard. "Nice to meet you, kid. You look like a mini Kakashi with that mask. All you need now is a Sharingan, and you'd be golden." The chuckle he let out was fake, and no one laughed. "Naruto, please escort Jiraiya to your team's training grounds. You can have a private conversation there," Sarutobi said kindly. With a bow, Naruto put his second face on, becoming Mouse. "Please follow me, Jiraiya-sama." And the pair made their way out the office, Angel following soon, leaving a rather worried Team Row. "I bet that bastard Dragon planned this," Hikaru blurted out suddenly. "That I did," Dragon said from nowhere. "Wolf, we'll have a private session on your next day off." His voice was cheerful, but still the Hyuga paled. "Now let's do some spying." He held up the famous orb, giddiness evident. "And how was that?" "Through discussions with readers, a friend, and my cats. I do have 3 of them. I decided on Naruto's familiar being a cat, as you know. I made it to where Angel will grow over time, and her personality will become more defined. Next chapter should be longer and will hold Naruto's chat with the world's worst godfather and more training, as well as more with Odo/Suna. For those confused with either Sasuke's seemingly change in character or Kurama's difference, a few things. Sasuke will not be all chummy. I even have another stupid angsty Sasuke moment planned. But I won't have him always be evil. Mainly because even though it fits, I wanted to have him redeemable, and when looking at my outline, decided that having an evil Sasuke would do more harm than good. Though, I do have the story diverge at a point where it will be able to go either way. As with Kurama, even small changes will affect those around you. I always found it odd that in canon Naruto, who knew the pain of being treated as nothing or evil, would treat Kurama the same way the first time he met him. Sure, Kurama threatened to eat him, but now that Naruto isn't a complete idiot and knows some respect, I feel Kurama would be willing to extend an olive branch. Plus, it's my fanfic, and I hate having an evil Kurama. Therefore their relationship will grow, if only slightly, from mutual hatred that was before the meeting to let's work sort of together to live. However, as with Naruto in canon though, the chakra will be filled with hate as Kurama doesn't have a complete 180. Happy National Cat Day. Chapter 6. With Naruto and Jiraiya. Once Naruto stepped into the training grounds of Road, Jiraiya could feel his godson's anger. Shit, was the Toad Sage's thoughts before his jewels barely escaped a Kakato ramming into them. He dodged flurry after flurry of well-timed jabs. At one point a Kawarami protected his head from flying as Naruto pulled off a perfect shunshin to get behind into Jiraiya's blind spot. If Naruto had just a couple more years' practice at suppressing his chakra, it would have worked. The worst part was that the whole time, his godson was behind his ANBU mask, meaning he couldn't tell what exactly he was feeling. As soon as the boy got into the battle, his emotions became unreadable. Tenzo's trained him well. But who taught him that level of shunshin? And the kenjutsu is rough, but deadly. With the spies / well-meaning observers. Stupid sage, that will teach him to abandon his family, Dragon said as he watched Naruto almost lop Jiraiya's head off for the 3rd time. Sarutobi gave him an incredulous look. Dragon, he didn't abandon your subordinate, he had important duties and. Can it, Hokage-sama? I've read his real file. As has Tenzo with my permission. He was stuck in the past and left Naruto to rot. Dragon was fiercely protective of all those under him. Mess with one of them, and you would be facing the 4th most powerful loyal leaf shinobi on active duty. When he discovered what Jiraiya saw as reasonable excuse to not check up on or send money to his student's legacy, he was tempted to break out of his disguise and use every ounce of his skill to murder Jiraiya. In other words, the dragon wanted to awaken. But seeing his current youngest subordinate elegantly channel his teachings towards mission, skewer a toad was enough for the commander, for now, at least. I know you're both angry with Jiraiya, but he's here now. Sarutobi tried but stopped as he could feel the room of glares from behind neutral masks. Okay, so he deserves this. But I just hope he survives not fighting back while Naruto's like that is either brave or stupid. Back with Naruto and Jiraiya. Naruto stop. Naruto. Jiraiya held a fist with a chakra-conductive kunai, wind blade centimeters from his jugular. After dodging without any response from the boy, Jiraiya had fought back. Big mistake. Naruto took that as permission to coat his sword and the kunai in wind chakra, and demonstrate his mastery of several low-ranked but deadly jutsu. Though he was hardly putting an effort in, Naruto's unpredictableness almost cost the pervert on no less than 6 occasions, and no one's invincible, and I hate it when high-class opponents seem to appear so forever. No, everybody is vulnerable to pointy objects aimed at vital spots if they're careless. I know I screwed up by not being there, but I'm here now. Why are you attempting murder? Jiraiya had not been so fearful in years as when Naruto used Shunshin to appear several feet in front of him and pulled off his mask, eyes slitted red. You abandoned me. I want to know why. Not some bull crap like Iwo or spies or your network. I know ANBU runs over 80% of the village's intelligence gathering. Naruto growled through ragged breaths. He knew the real reason, but wanted someone to admit it. Kurama in the seal was quite enjoying himself. His container was certainly more entertaining than he thought he would be, and the older human deserved the pain. Sigh. You look just like him, that's why. Seeing you now is hard, but I can tell you're your own person. Jiraiya got on the ground and bowed his nose to the dirt. Please forgive me, for I have failed you, he asked. Naruto's eyes turned blue once more. What will he do, I wonder? His emotions are fluctuating. Kurama didn't know whether to be disappointed or proud at his container's reply. No, I can't forgive you. Maybe he's not the one. Kurama thought, only to widen his eyes at the answer. Yet. I can't forgive you yet. I could lie and tell you I don't hold a grudge, but I do. But that's not to say we can't start over. You've messed up as a godfather and have to earn that right back. But I've seen what hatred does to people. The villagers and Sasuke, and they QB. I don't ever want to be as empty yet filled with anger as them. So, my name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I like my friends Yugao, Tenzo, Hikaru, Angel and Kurama, seals, training and ramen. I dislike those who can't tell a kunai from a scroll, traitors, and recently secrets. My hobbies are reading and gardening at the moment. My dream is to protect my precious people, to be strong enough for them. And get the guy back that killed my parents one day. He held out a hand to the slack-jawed toad sage. After a moment, Jiraiya hesitantly offered his hand back. My name is Jiraiya. I like sake, researching what makes women perfect, and writing. I dislike a certain snake, traitors and war. My hobbies are writing and research. My dream is to end the cycle of hatred, even if it is impossible. Jiraiya kept from using his usual antics until later. Naruto plopped down in front. So, what now? Jiraiya smirked at the question. Well, your combat abilities are definitely chunin in level based on just now ANBU influence, I'm sure. But you don't have that much in your arsenal, and your taijutsu could still use work. Name the ninjutsu that you can use. Well, I have the Kawarami Henge and Shadow Clone mastered at Dragon's approval. My Great Breakthrough and Air Force Palm are also mastered, but now I'm increasing their speed or power. My other wind attack, drilling air bullets, is acceptable, as is Shunshin. Hold on, your Shunshin is battle ready without seals, that's mastered in my book. Naruto shook his head. No dragon says it isn't until I can create after images. Anyways, I am able to use the headhunter, but it's limited for a few feet range, and the hidden mist is just now becoming thick enough for me to confuse enemies. Naruto was proud at the last part. After managing to get the penny to move around and float on water in a glass, the first step to water manipulation, he was able to use water jutsu, even if it took a huge chunk of chakra still. The next step was controlling the waterfall waves to push it upwards. If he had a choice, Naruto would be done with water manipulation training, as he just finished wind last week. However, Shikaku was vulnerable to water-based attacks, so he had to gain the control necessary for several high-powered water attacks. Jiraiya looked proud. Good, good. You have almost enough ninjutsu for now, as Sensei and Kakashi are spending time on that. I'll begin teaching you the Rasengan later today, and a few supplementary jutsu as the exams get closer though. However, let's talk seals. He had a glint in his eye that made Naruto nervous, which increased when Jiraiya rubbed his hands together. That night, Naruto lay on his bed, unable to sleep. You called me friend. Kurama's growl echoed through Naruto's mind. The fox had stayed quiet, but now wanted answers. Yeah, so? I consider you a friend, Kurama. Why? Why not? We're stuck together, might as well get along. Naruto thought back bluntly. Honestly, the fox could be dense. You aren't my friend. You don't even have my respect, brat. Yet. I don't have your respect yet. But one day I will. And then a day will come where we're best of friends. What makes you so sure? At the first chance I could break the seal. I am a being of pure hatred. I'm not worried. I'll just have to help you with your anger problem before then. Kurama sputtered at that. I don't have anger problems. I am all the world's hatred minus. Blah blah blah. I get it. But soon you'll be the world's something other than hatred. I promise you this, and I never go back on my word to comrades. I'm not your comrade. Kurama insisted. He never had a human so naive to think he'd be his friend or comrade. But the brat did amuse him, and the tiny human reminded him of the fox's father to an extent. Just keep telling yourself that. I'll get through you one day. Angel stretched out on his stomach, purring, breaking the conversation. Naruto. Why were you mad at the funny man? Angel asked. Originally his name had been Toad Man, but when they caught him drooling over a swimsuit magazine, the puzzled cat changed it. He did something bad. But you forgive him? No, not really. But I need his assistance for my Fuinjutsu. Naruto admitted, which confused the cat more. In the cat lands, if someone made you mad, you didn't hang around them until they apologized. Angel said, confused. Well, in the ninja world, the greater good and orders come before feelings. Besides, we still have to come up with a prank for him. I may have an idea for that. Dragon's voice spoke through the darkness. Anbu and Cat bolted out of bed in a holler. The commander chuckled, appearing on the windowsill. My, is the cat and mouse afraid of the dark? Said Cat, and Mouse glared. Anyway, I have something in mind, and if you pull it off, I'll make it worth your while. Next day, Jinchuriki training area. Why are you poking me? Naruto asked as he heaved air. They had forced Naruto to draw on a full tail's worth before he was ready. Every muscle was torn or strained. Jiraiya just kept using Naruto's sheathed sword to poke him in the side. You sure you're alright? Tenzo had to suppress your chakra. That shouldn't happen, Naruto glared at the Sannin. It's my second time using Kurama's chakra, so give me a break. Kurama? As in the one you called a friend yesterday? Jiraiya sucked in a breath when Naruto shook his head. Kid, you can't trust it, the beast is a he, has a name, and is stuck inside me. Kurama can't get out, and treating him like a demon makes him act like one. The Hachibai and his Jinchuriki are partners, and the Ichibi and Gaara can unleash vast amounts of power. I have to talk to him to get power, and I'd rather be on good terms than fight for my sanity and control when it matters. Fine. But I'll be keeping a close eye on your seal. He said, distrusting. But now, time to learn your father's second most famous jutsu. 1 week later. Jiraiya woke in his hotel room refreshed. His godson was talking to him during training. Even if underhanded insults hardly counted as conversation, his revised draft of his next book was ready to be shipped for publishing, and he had until the afternoon to peeper research before Naruto showed up for lessons. The boy had the Rasengan's first step mastered with one hand, and was eagerly improving on step 2. Within a month Naruto would know Rasengan, and he was officially a beginning level 3 Fuinjutsu user. Yes, everything was working out. Until it wasn't. Who stole my book? Was heard all across Konoha. Jiraiya hyperventilated. Few had the skill to steal from him, and even fewer had the guts. A note greeted him on the bottom of his sack. Jiraiya, we have taken your book as payment for the next 5 days. You are to teach at the academy the basics of small explosive notes and storage scrolls to the final years. If you refuse, your book will take a fireball and its ashes will be mailed to you. P.S. Yes, we took both copies. Jiraiya paled, cursed, then resigned himself. Sorry, Naruto, but months of research must not be wasted. With grim resolve, the sage walked to the academy for his punishment, wondering if it was his sensei or the Chunin who pulled it off. If only he knew it was his godson who successfully pulled it off without any assistance. Meanwhile, Hokage's office. Dragon and Sarutobi toasted their tea together, both reading Ikaku Volume 13. Naruto and Angel barely kept their faces blank at the sight of two grown men giggling over smut, as did Tenzo and Yugao. Oh, here, Dragon said suddenly, slamming something in Naruto's face. Naruto cursed, then saw the Chunin grin. I'm in ANBU. We don't get these promotions. He pointed out blandly. Technically ANBU were above everyone but their captains, commander, and the elder/Hokage. Even Jonin would listen to an order from an ANBU member on a mission. Normally you would be right, Naruto, Sarutobi said between pages, but not only will it solidify your non-ANBU identity as Konoha's Jinchuriki when the exams roll around, basically a show of village strength since Suna's Jinchuriki is still a genin minus, but you're more than qualified, 32 C rank guard rotations, 20 various B rank, and 4 A minus rank. That, and you're on babysitting duty while your captain and senpai here does a measly S rank surveillance. Dragon added airily. All the ANBU looked towards their commander, even the one stationed. Only you would call an S rank measly commander. Naruto deadpanned. And what's this about babysitting? I'm not in charge of Konohamaru again, am I? I can't take being his boss anymore. Atop his head, Angel agreed. Yeah, no baby humans. Konohamaru and his friends took every chance they could to bug the pair for training, even going so far as attempting to follow Naruto home several times. Not even the Hyuga girl was that persistent anymore. Haha, no, you get to be Team 7 squad leader for a week-long C-rank delivery, and pick up mission to River Country border. Please no, Naruto finally managed. He could take Sasuke in small doses as long as he kept the older boy busy. Heck, even the other two were manageable now that Sakura started to grow up. But a week of non-stop interaction. Hell no, let Hikari do it. He's their temporary sensei when Kakashi-senpai is busy. The older ANBU secretly agreed, let the bum Hikari use this vacation to look after some brats. That won't be possible. Wolf will be my personal training partner this week. Unless you wish to take his place. Naruto shivered and grabbed the scroll in Dragon's hand. No need. Dragon-sama, Hokage-sama, Captain Yugao-senpai. See you in a week, he said in a rush before bolting towards the door. Wait. Dragon threw another scroll. Your payment for those 600 chakra smoke tags and 300 explosive tags, 6 chakra conductive kunai and 300 senbon. Though why you need more of the kunai mouse, I will never know. You have 4 from that blasted poker night deal. Naruto lit up at that. On request of his commander, he made the mass amounts of the explosive and chakra smoke tags over the course of a month for the ANBU forces. In payment he requested more of the special kunai as regular ones couldn't take prolonged channeling of wind chakra. Then, after seeing how deadly Sakura was lately with senbon, he added the tiny weapons on. You can never have too many. Naruto defended with a cheeky grin. Instead of 3 Kakuto, Naruto got 2 and 4 of the kunai from the supply store. East Gate. Yo. Naruto greeted when he appeared in front of Team 7 half an hour later. The three genin stared at their replacement squad leader with mixtures of surprise for Sakura, jealousy for Sasuke, and mild curiosity for Sai. Naruto. What are you doing here in a Chunin vest? Sakura finally asked after a staring contest between the four took place. Oh, I got a field promotion for working in the Hokage Tower, he lied smoothly. Field promotions for administrative positions were common. The genin bought it, though Sasuke was suspicious as always, seeing as Naruto's combat abilities were astounding unlike other shinobi in his supposed area. And since Kakashi-senpai is busy, I was put as your commanding officer for the week. Our mission is to meet the village's leading supplier of rice and exchange the revised sale agreement for the next growing season. Oh, and Sakura? Catch. What's this? 300 senbon. The girl squealed at seeing her new favorite weapon. Her teammates inch away slowly as her long hair appears to whip around her head and storm clouds blow in. Think of all the uses. The joints I can hit. Heh. I see you like them, Naruto said as he too backed away. Sakura gave him a small smile. Thanks, Naruto. Where did you get them? Senbon are difficult to get below Jonin or Anbu. Can we go now? Sasuke interrupted rudely before Naruto could explain. Rolling his eyes, the Anbu agent shook his head. Fine. Diamond formation, Sasuke front with Sakura and Sai left and right. I'll be in the back with my shadow clones. We have 3 days to arrive at the border in case of attack, don't question me. Naruto ordered with a tick. Sasuke gulped, and annoyed Naruto equaled an in pain Sasuke. Even Sai was wary of that emotion. Hours later the four were hopping through the trees with clones going on ahead, Naruto working on senbon balancing with his fingertips and Sai gazing emotionlessly. Sakura attempted to talk to her broody teammate. Sasuke-kun, you. Shut up, Sakura. Sasuke snapped. I won't go on a date with you, you're weak. I thought you got over that. In truth, Sasuke wouldn't have been so rough, but the combination of his rival surpassing him and the useless mission they gave him made Sasuke short-tempered. Since the kidnapping attempt he had gotten more training than ever before, but the missions were a joke. Fine. I was just going to say your pack was open, Sasuke. The pinkett huffed. All three boys whipped their heads to gape at her. What? She asked. You just told off Dickless, Sai pointed out. You weren't asking me out. And you called him Sasuke without the kun? HMPH? Shut it, guys. She said with a sweat drop. She wasn't that bad, was she? She'd have to talk to Ino about it after they returned. With that the four continued on towards the border. Meanwhile, Kakashi was meeting up with Yugao and Tenzo deep within Rice. Senpai they both greeted in sign, dressed as missing Nin from Kumo. Kakashi I smiled in similar garb, but kept the face mask. Good, you're here. The message Draya-sama found mentioned an alliance between Odo and Suna, with a meeting scheduled between Jonin representatives near here. We are to observe and find a way to confirm the leader location of Odo. They give affirmation and sit down in the trees to prepare. The future of the village could depend on their success. That's it for this part. If you enjoyed it, then like, share and subscribe for the next video, as it's going to be more interesting. And also check out my other playlists, hope you would like them too.